There we go. We figured out that part. Okay. That needs to go there. We got desktop audio there. That can go there. Okay. I think we're going. I think we're doing it. I could be wrong though. All right. Let's just leave it alone. Stop messing with this. And just go from here. All right, guys. What's going on? Let's see.
Curious what it's like to be in your head.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of leftist propaganda.
I don't have to explain to you the meaning and history of that word. I think you understand why people take issue with it.
That's what they call themselves.
You just exhibited the principle I'm talking about.
Hey, hey. Does that offend you?
I'm devastated.
I'm pushing so many buttons right now.
All right, can we take a break?
I have something insane in store for you. But first, let me explain what you're about to watch, and then we'll dive into it. After witnessing the feedback to my conversation with right-wing influencers Isabella and Josiah Moody and feeling like I didn't address all that needed to be, I decided that it couldn't be our last discussion, so I reached out to them asking if they would sit down again, and this prompted an admittedly wild idea that has somehow come to fruition. More on that in a moment. As was abundantly clear throughout the first interview, we disagree on just about everything. And more than that, I frankly find much of what Isabella says and does on the internet to be disgusting and reprehensible, and maybe the feelings mutual. But as I've demonstrated since the beginning of my career, it's super important that we directly engage with even extremely dangerous ideologies, because how do we defeat harmful ideas if we don't confront them? And after Trump won, I told you that I'd be stepping it up and taking the fight directly to MAGA folks even more than before. And one of the aspects of that is attempting to expose their ideology to their faces. Clearly staying in our bubbles and echo chambers doesn't work. But as I've had more debates, I've realized one-off conversations that happen and it's over and that's it never seem to move the needle. There's never enough time to really dismantle harmful ideas, which is why we're doing what we're doing here, which is launching a new show that will give us the necessary time called The Grudge. Once a week on Sunday, we'll publish an episode on my channel where Isabella, Moody, and I, and sometimes her husband, get into it. It's likely not going to be pleasant, but we're going to cover stories from our two perspectives and argue about it. This will provide the person and the time for me to comprehensively demonstrate what is so wrong with the Moodies and thus far-right extreme MAGA's ideology. And I guess you'll try to do that to mine.
Is this what we're doing now?
I understand some of you won't like this. Some people believe even talking with such characters is harmful.
Civilization 6.
I disagree. I think it's not about whether or not you're platforming or talking with them, but instead how you're doing it is in a responsible way. But I do hear you.
I was going to play
Dead Space. The good thing is that nothing's changing about my normal daily show. So if you just want to hear from me and don't want arguments between Isabella and myself, the good thing is you have tons of content of that every single week.
Like just hanging
but
out,
I would be grateful if you could provide the space and chance for us to give it a try. And last thing before jumping into the first episode, I have no idea how this is going to go, so I can't tell you how many episodes we'll have or exactly how it's all going to play out. We may find out very quickly there's not much valuable about this and call it quits, or the Moodies might realize they don't like being attacked by me every week and call it quits. We're just going to have to see. But until then, look out for the episodes on this channel on Sundays. And without further ado, this is episode 1 of The Grudge.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to have to get YouTube Premium for reals if I'm going to do this. There we go.
I am back with Isabella Moody.
Yes.
I can't believe that you signed up for round 2.
I can't believe you missed me so much that you wanted me to come back on. I mean, come on.
All right, let's get into it.
Luke Beasley's about to take this guy's
Lily
life.
Gaddis person?
I've seen her clips go viral on Twitter, and she also has a show on Compound Censored, Censored.tv, which I have as well. So that's pretty much it. Have DM'd her, but that's it.
Okay, so
yeah, I like Beasley.
Aside from the controversy that I've told my followers about with her before,
Beasley's a good kid.
I want to go through that, remind them of it, but then get to what I think is an absurdity of something you advocate and she advocates as well. And it plays into MAGA's just obsession with being the victims in their stories. So as a reminder, this I think she was described as the N-word lady for some time.
Oh, wow.
But she posted
Okay.
this video that
The N-word
caused
lady.
the initial controversy.
Everybody
Pondering
I know
politics.
who's married right now.
I like that guy.
they're
Oh,
married
it's this
to
lady.
broke-ass
I remember this lady.
and they don't care. We don't
Susie
give a
Homemaker.
about your money. I couldn't care less about your money. Okay.
So on TikTok, that's against their terms of service. She was
Oh,
held
did she get the
accountable
boot?
there for it, banned off of
She
TikTok.
got Das Boot?
And then she
yeah,
got
the
fired
Treadwise stuff is really
because
funny.
she was
it's
refusing,
like weird,
from my
like,
understanding, to apologize
I don't
or
know,
walk
almost
back or
comedy.
anything. And she ended up posting this video
like some fucking weird,
and
20s
says why she
TV
doesn't
or
have any
something.
remorse.
So, a recent video of mine seems to have upset members of a certain community, and
a certain community.
all the
she
backlash
says.
just really made me, just really do a deep dive, like do a
Oh,
soul
did
search.
it?
And after all that,
Losing your job?
I still couldn't find a care.
You're gonna
It's an
call
RTS
us
of
racist.
it's
You're
like
gonna
city
call
building.
us.
Is this hashtag based?
It's
So true, especially
civilizations.
Andrew Breitbart. Like what he says right here is great.
Okay, let's listen.
Potential Timothy McVeigh's. You.
Okay.
War.
So let me ask you this.
Oh yeah.
Well, and then you have this quote
Their
on,
content
on
is
screen.
so
Let me read
dumb.
it. If the First Amendment is intended
Tiny
to protect
Glade. I
anything,
was gonna
it's
play
intended to
Against the
protect offensive
Storm,
speech. If
but
you're not
I
going
haven't
to
played
offend
Against the
anyone,
Storm
you
in
don't
so
need
long
protection.
That I don't know where I'm at
I
in
guess
it,
we
and
can get
it's
into it.
one of those games where
I
you
have
you only get
failed to
one
explain
save.
to MAGA folks.
And I was like, I don't want
why
to sit on stream trying
I
to figure out where
believe
the fuck
they
I am
shouldn't
and
use
just
the
having
N-word.
people just like
I don't know if we'll make progress on that.
be like,
but I do
"God,
want to
he's
get
terrible."
into. I agree with the quote here from Larry Flint, but y'all don't seem to understand it.
No,
But
you
first,
don't agree with that though.
What? Okay.
They
you wanna start
never
there, or
know.
do you
Yeah.
They
need
never
to-
know what
I
the
mean-
fucking
Controversy
quotes
yourself.
actually
Yeah, no,
mean.
what you don't agree with that though.
Like,
that's
they,
offensive speech, and you have a problem with it.
What is
Dear
the First
MAGA
Amendment?
They share
folk, we
Socrates
should not
and
be
stuff
using
like
these
that,
certain
and they have
words.
no
Oh my gosh,
fucking
it's so
idea what it
terrible.
means.
What do you think the First Amendment says?
Okay, I don't know.
You
the
know,
exact-
you don't have to do the
Good
exact quote, but what's
times.
the spirit of it?
I mean, the First Amendment: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, freedom of the press. Is that all First Amendment? Like what?
I'm not trying to quiz
What?
you. I'm saying, of course, you're right to be an idiot. Lily Gaddis is right to be this victim in her story because everyone's against her because she's using
he's
racial
killing
Do you
me
think she
right
thinks
now.
that she's a victim right now?
Of course, her whole thing is I'm censored.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Barely. I've never seen her say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so
Barely.
censored." She just doubles down. If she really was so upset about it, maybe she would apologize. And that makes me want to ask you, like, why do you want her to apologize? What does that do for you? Because the left is always asking people to you better apologize
Makes
and
me
walk
feel
back
good.
what you said.
Makes
But
me feel
whenever
good when she
anyone does that,
apologizes.
it doesn't
Makes me
matter.
feel so
They
good.
still hate them.
I don't care about her at all.
Yeah, exactly.
And didn't know about her. But
What up,
in seeing
Gandhi?
this story go viral, others seem to want her to apologize because,
Yeah.
and this is an
Nobody
argument I
really
do
cares.
agree with, people shouldn't be using.
Is he gonna
or,
is he gonna
to put it
pardon
better,
Hunter
because that'll
Biden?
confuse you.
If he pardons
We
Hunter Biden, I
should-
think that'd be
we
epic.
should disagree. Your word.
At
not
this
mine.
point, I'm
We
at
should
that.
disagree
I'm all about
with people
just
using
fucking
racial
with these
slurs.
guys now. So
Now,
I think they
what's
should definitely
being discussed
pardon
here?
Hunter Biden. I'm down with it.
Oh my gosh.
She's
down.
not talking
Crazy
about black
position.
people. She's saying like broke guys. It's just a word. She's not literally being these broke
And-
black men.
Oh,
No, it's
yeah,
just
you can hang out with us.
brokies, like
Gandhi
broke
style.
I don't
guys.
have to explain
We
to
like
you the meaning
Gandhi.
and history of that word. I think you understand why people take issue with it.
Please
That's
mansplain it
why-
to me.
That's why you like
Yeah.
that this is sort of why she went viral. Because
he
people are
did?
outraged. Because there's a
Good.
reason to be outraged. But
Fucking
here,
A.
we're talking about the government, as I told you in the other episode, not
Good job,
infringing
Joe.
on your free speech rights. And of course, you
Fuck
can have
'em,
the
Joe.
spirit of free speech. So platforms should do their best to protect people's freedom of speech.
think that's great,
But
to be
all
honest
you're
with you.
talking about in so many situations.
I'm at that point
and what
in my
sells
relationship
this
with
MAGA
politics.
line of we're the free
I've
speech
become
warriors
that
when we're
guy.
not, is that you don't think other people should use their free speech to take issue with you.
Yes, I do. We talked
So
about
then
this
what's the
last
problem?
time.
Yeah, why not?
There's no
That's what I'm saying.
problem.
Like you lost
Okay, then
the
what's
election.
You can
been wrong with
criticize
her?
it. I love
Like,
when
you
people
might as well
criticize
just,
the things
like,
I say.
do
I
it.
think it's funny. That's why my posts go
if it was
viral.
my
But
son,
again,
I
we
wouldn't
think
just-
you're
fucking
we
crazy
just
pardon him in the
watched this
first
video.
place. So I
We
don't
just
want
watched
to
it
fuck your
again.
feelings.
Okay.
So, a recent video of mine seems to have.
That's why I can't be the president.
Upset members of a certain
Yeah, Trump did a
community.
bunch of shit. Yeah,
And
that's what I'm saying.
All the backlash just really made me,
Like the left needs to like stop trying to always be the higher ground party, man. They gotta stop. It's not doing any good. Like it'd be a whole different question if the left was like, doing the higher ground thing, and people were like, it was appealing to people, and people were like, oh yeah, like these guys are like the morally good party, and but people nowadays are like, I identify more with Harley Quinn and the Joker, like that's our society now. It's like they're like, I identify with like trolls, I like trolling, I like being mean. It's like, okay, then fine. Like, why would you sacrifice your son's freedom when you know that like no one else would? Like, literally people are asking Joe Biden to do something that none of them would. And I didn't even understand that really, like, about like people protecting their kids. Like you have a person that has a child that becomes a serial killer or something like that, and you're like, how could you defend that? Like, how could you ever defend that? And there's certain things obviously I wouldn't be able to defend with my children, but becoming a parent like makes you realize like you don't believe things about your own children, and you don't like want things to be true. And then when you think about it, you're like, I have like one fucking turn on this earth, and it's getting shorter and shorter, and my poor kid has to like fucking live with whatever, like fucking go to prison for the last 20 years of his life or something like that. Fuck that. Pardon him. I'd pardon him every fucking time. Every fucking time. Fuck him, Joe.
Just really do
Fuck
a deep
'em.
dive. Like, do a soul search. And
Having
after
kids
all
is tough.
that,
I can tell you that. It's
What
the
did she
toughest
say?
job you ever have.
The backlash is why
She's-
she finds it relevant to say the First Amendment. What? The backlash is free speech represented.
I cannot believe that people actually hold this opinion. This is an entire new thought process regarding the First Amendment that I've ever heard in my entire life. She's
She's
just
a
kind of
moron.
being like, hey, F you guys. I don't care what you guys have to say. Like, I'm doubling down. I don't really care.
Yeah,
She's not
double down
saying,
then.
I
You don't get to
cannot
keep your
believe
job.
I have backlash. We should censor all this backlash speech against me. That's not what
She's not saying that.
No
She's
one has
not
ever said
saying
you
that.
cannot criticize
She's
what we say.
crying
No one has
about
ever
it.
said that ever.
When all of you cry about the left
There you
being
go.
for
Good job,
censorship,
Luke.
the
We cry.
majority of what you're talking about is people disagree.
And that's what I'm talking about. Like, seeing young shy Luke saying, when you guys cry about this, like, good job, fucking Luke. That's what I'm talking about, dog. Stop taking these people's shit, man. Stop, like, oh, you guys, she's just saying she's doubling down. Okay, yeah, well, I'm saying she's an asshole. There you go. She doubled down. I say she's an asshole. This is the way the world works. It's cool now. You get what you want. I get what I want. I get to call you an asshole because you are an asshole. Just like I call you dumb because you're dumb. All right? And you get to double down. You get to be more of an asshole. See? Win-win.
agreeing with your speech, which is their speech, which is fine.
No, people, at least
People
from,
got mad at her, and
Yeah,
now she's
she's
going,
just stupid.
oh,
Yeah,
they
she's
must be
stupid.
against free speech. That's why
It's
she's
hard
putting
to,
that
like,
quote.
fucking listen to this
yes,
sometimes,
because they're
but
mad that she said a
I
word
saw
that
it
they,
while I was
today
doing
in
this, and I was
society
like,
you
it's an
can't
hour
say.
long.
Hold on
We'll
to that.
give it a
You
shot.
just exhibited
I
the
didn't
principle
even
I'm
check it
talking
out,
about.
to be honest with you.
You're saying,
Please.
see? Do you
Please,
understand?
No, I don't, because you're not making any sense.
These two are about to
She's
get married.
upset that people were upset
Seven,
at
Nana.
her, and then
Welcome to
She's
the
not
gaming
upset.
show.
You're saying
She's
that the people.
joking.
We're doing
She's
something-
a-
we're doing
she's
different
I don't
things.
care if you
I
guys are
can't
upset.
do
I'm
the
gonna
same
still
thing
do what
all
I'm
the
gonna
time.
do.
You-
She's not
This
upset.
is
No
my
one's crying.
fallibility.
You argued just like
Got a
5 to 10
set trip.
seconds ago that people are against free speech. You said they are because they were mad at her. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, they're against free speech because they don't want her to say it. The reason why she went viral is for saying
They're
nigga.
using their free speech.
She's not mad at them for the backlash.
Oh my gosh,
They're
we're
mad at
going
her
in
for using the
circles.
word.
This is
Oh,
mind-numbing.
I cannot believe
This
there's
is
people in this country that think
mind-numbing.
this way.
No. This is crazy.
I feel like I'm talking to Joe Biden here.
Are you
Oh,
ready to see
no.
your brand on TV? Your competitors will wish they had
Dude,
known
the
about
worst
that.
part is
Who's
that
fun?
their jokes are really bad. Like,
I don't.
dude, like, I love a good burn. If somebody burns me good, it like takes me a second. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good. That was a good one. Like, the worst part about like all these people is that they really don't actually have like a good sense of humor, and their jokes are really shitty. They're actually just like bad, and like that's the saddest part about this is like I can't even enjoy the burn because the burn isn't good. You're just like that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
Understand how you aren't hearing what I'm saying.
Because
If
we just think so differently, and that shows because I can't
No,
understand
you-
how you don't think
I
how
think-
I think.
I don't know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
Nana, we might switch to
I'm
somebody
being
else in a
correct.
minute.
You're
I don't
saying
know.
okay.
Like, this
I
is
hope
like,
the audience
this is
understands the
a
point.
Oh,
Because
your
conversation
audience,
that's not
obviously.
going
Audience.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I think
Holy
most
shit!
people
Please don't
who
make
are
this
able
a
to tie their
show.
shoes understand.
Luke, don't
that
do it,
pe-
dude.
that
Don't make this
using
a
one's
show,
free
bro.
speech to get upset at someone else's speech is as American as apple pie.
I don't disagree with you. What are
Then
you talking
stop
about?
saying the people who don't want her to use racial slurs are against freedom of speech.
Because the only reason she went viral was because she used that one word that we're not allowed to use in society. So
You're allowed to, and then we're
You're
allowed to be mad at you
people
for
can
it.
push
Yes, that's okay.
back
She got
against
banned off
it.
TikTok.
So
Cool.
the backlash was fine.
Yes,
Cool.
no, it doesn't
Who cares? It's
fucking
a word. Does the
apply
word
to
make you feel
businesses,
any, like-
you
Because
moron.
words are one of the most powerful things that we have. Everything. Wars are started with words. It's fine to understand the gravity that can be attached to
This is
certain
why
words.
the R word
Okay,
has to be
well,
used on people.
When you
like
do the
this.
it's just words argument, all of a sudden our entire system of communication becomes irrelevant.
Let me ask you: would you rather be shot
Would
or
you
be shot at
rather?
with words? Would you rather be like
What
literally
the
like a gun in front of you,
fuck?
physical violence, have be fired, or would you rather,
Dude.
or would you rather just have someone say something about you,
I'd rather she be shot.
like, hey,
Do it.
hey, does that offend you?
I'm just I'm devastated.
I know. Well,
I said
you
it
are
one quickly
liberal.
so that way YouTube
So.
doesn't get
Here's
it.
more of Lily. What's
Okay.
her face?
I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
this
you
one.
can bring your delegation. Bring your delegation, Gandhi.
So happy to be here.
Bring it, bud.
I have listened
Civilization
I've been
6,
a baby
Nana.
monster myself for years.
should probably put that in
prior
the,
to the
probably put
N-word
that in the description.
kerfuffle, where I was quickly
I'm new to this.
launched into the internet sphere, into the Twitter sphere, and deemed as the most hated woman.
My favorite burn from the kids nowadays, my favorite burn that the kids have nowadays is, are you new? Like, that's what I'm talking about. Those are the burns I like. Like, I had this, I used to say to people when, like, you know, like somebody would make me mad, I said, we're not friends anymore. And I had this young girl that was working for me that was super sassy. And I asked her to do something, and she was like, what if I don't do that? And I go, we're not friends anymore. And she goes, we were never friends. And I was like, oh, fuck. That was good. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of shit I like. Are you new? Like, that just casts so much shade on you. Like, new at what? New at life? New at what we're doing right now? What do you mean? Just new in general? Like, dude, that's the good shit. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Woman on the internet, as far as some losers and their assessments of me online.
Oh, I
have
love
said.
Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's one of the
Anyway,
three...
I wanted to get right into it. So we obviously.
Jon Stewart is one of the three patron saints of this channel, along with Tamika. Tamika, who's a viewer who passed away. Tamika is the main saint, but our three patron saints are Jon Stewart, George Carlin, and Bill Burr. Those are our patron saints. I love Jon Stewart. I think Jon Stewart's awesome. I think that he's really intelligent. I think that he actually puts his money where his mouth is, and he goes out and fucking fights for first responders and for our military, and like legitimately has good views across the board. I was just actually looking at some videos, and I saw like the Destiny Nick Fuentes alleged sex tape, and I was like, you know what? This is what's wrong with the left. Is like on the right, you don't see like Dave Rubin fucking roasting Tim Pool, or you don't see Charlie Kirk fighting with Tim Pool. But on the left, you have like Destiny and Hassan and Vosh and all these people that just like fight with each other constantly. And it's like the right doesn't even have to talk shit about the left. The left will just do it for themselves, right? Like Destiny and Hassan will like fucking blood feud over the dumbest shit and call each other PDF files and like air each other's dirty laundry like 24/7. And then they wonder like, oh, I wonder why like we can't get ahead in this game. It's almost like they spend more time criticizing each other than they criticize the right. And it's fucking like, I don't know. I call it dramatics, not dramatics. Dramatics. And that is like this like YouTube content creator drama between content creators. Like, I swear to God, I see somebody make a video of me, I'm just gonna like find them. I don't mean I'm gonna physically harm them. I mean I'm going to find them. I'm gonna be like, say that shit right now. Because I don't do that shit, dude. Like, I wouldn't really care if somebody made videos about me. I would just kind of like be like, that's weird. That's really weird that you made a video about me. But then I'd also want to like find them and be like, hey, you should try to say that to me. I don't do the dramatics, dude. I don't like the dramatics. Yeah, John has evolved. Yeah, dude. He's evolved so much. Yeah, and the boomers politically have devolved. Exactly, Cypher. Exactly. I don't like any of that stuff, Cypher. I think Destiny's a really good debater. I think that if Destiny would fucking get away from the drama style shit and just concentrate on talking about left-wing politics, it could probably be a force for good. I think the same thing goes for Hassan. I don't know about Vosh, actually. I don't know anything about Vosh, to be honest with you, other than I once heard that he's really into horse prawn. That's the only thing I know. And that's what I'm saying, though. It's that's what I know about him, right? Is on the left we have dramatics, and it's oh, the things that this person believes, so I made a video going after him. And they're like, oh, are you a conservative? No, I'm also on the left. And I'm like, yep, that's why y'all ain't ever gonna win anything. I heard Vosh began his rage debate perv, and his audience has shifted as much as he has. Okay. Yeah, Hassan is closest to the left, but I heard CNN say, oh, he's the Joe Rogan of the left, and I'm like, I think you guys are missing the point. The idea of creating a Joe Rogan isn't to be a Joe Rogan, it's to have reach, for sure. It's to have the reach of a Joe Rogan, but more or less you have to humanize your guest. And I don't watch a lot of any of these guys' streams. So I will say this. It seems like Hassan is just as high school as Destiny, just as high. I don't know about Vosh, once again. I don't know. I know more about Destiny and Hassan, and I know very little about either of them. But both of those guys seem like a lot of the shit that they talk about is very high school, very drama style, and I just can't deal with it. And I'm like, please don't make that guy into the that just sounds like another fuck up from the left. Yo, we figured it out. We found the first person that we came across in content creation was this Hassan guy, and he's going to be our Joe Rogan. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear fucking about Destiny's love life on the fucking, from the guy that's supposed to be, making the party stronger, god damn it. That's the shit that drives me nuts. That's because Hassan is appealing to largely to a wide audience and biggest Twitch ball. Yeah, I don't disagree with those things. I just don't think that he's what I would call a Joe Rogan of the left. Like I said, I can't see. I've seen Hassan sit down with Marianne Williamson. I thought that was pretty good, actually. I like Marianne Williamson. I don't know that she should be the president of the United States, but I do like her. But I did like him sitting down with her, but he doesn't seem to have the same chops that Rogan has when it comes to interviewing random people and having conversations for long periods of time that kind of humanize him. I did see that he had talked to what's his name, Asmongold, after Asmongold said that all Palestinians are inferior to Americans or whatever the fuck Asmongold said. Once again, the gamer guy thing. Gamer guys getting involved in politics just is fucking just brain rot. I go over to Asmongold's channel every once in a while and watch one of his political takes, just to remind myself that I'm doing okay. All right, actually, this guy has the worst political takes. Well, okay, not the worst political takes on the internet. Obviously, we're watching a girl with the worst political takes on the fucking internet. Yeah, is Asmongold also going after Hassan? I thought Hassan had reached Asmongold. That's the point I was about to make. Was I thought that I watched the video on Hassan talking about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I actually reached him." So maybe that didn't happen, but Asmongold's got some really shit fucking takes. I'm sure Asmongold's a good video game guy, but the fucking guy seems like he's never left his house. I swear to God. He looks like a guy that's never left his house. He also looks like South Park Jesus. He looks like a guy that's never left his house in his entire life, that has no real life actual experience, it drives me nuts to see a guy like that telling people his opinion on like how they should live their life. I'm like, bro, you got to go outside every once in a while before you can start telling people that. Dude, why is it every time why is it every time I go on Kick or Twitch, like this is all I get are these fucking goddamn bots. Fucking goddamn bots, dude. Yeah, he used to play WoW. I remember like friends of mine would be like, dude, you know who Asmongold is? And I like didn't watch any streamers at all back then. And they're like, Asmongold's like the dopest, dude. And I'm like, I don't really care. They're like, I'm like, what was he doing? They're like, he plays Warcraft. And I'm like, I play Warcraft. And they're like, yeah, but he's fun to watch. I'm like, I'd rather play. I'll be honest with you. I am Gen X. So like I am almost a boomer. So a lot of my opinions are kind of shitty in that way. I've got some old man opinions in that area.
So you have to start
like
with
Asmongold needs to go outside.
Huge part of the story apparently, because the worst thing with wars going on, with children being trafficked, with millions of babies being aborted through abortion every year. The main thing we should be focused on is a white girl who says the N-word, because of course that's the worst thing that's ever.
Who's arguing the main thing we should be focusing on is that?
It's so
that's a fair
fucking
point.
dumb.
That is a fair point. To her, like, you have to know, and I know this too from personal experience,
It's
when
all
you have
just rage
something that
baiting.
you've said that's offensive, that blows up, you feel like that's the only thing everyone will ever talk about ever again. I know I felt that with like certain like videos that went viral in the past,
shit.
and I'm
Hello,
like, oh my gosh, my
barbarians.
world is ending.
Oh,
Like,
there's a lot of barbarians up
never
here.
be on social media again. So I
My
think
scout's
I agree
about
with
to
you.
get
No one
gangbanged.
said that, but to her,
This
it's
isn't
like
gonna
the
be
only
good.
thing that's
Right.
happening. So
Yeah,
here,
okay.
more common ground. We need to stop this.
Because of course that's the worst thing that's ever happened on planet Earth. In fact,
What is
when
this
in fact,
fucking
all it
video
was
they're
was
watching?
me saying a casual
This is
term,
terrible.
broke ass, and actually referring to using the word.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Sean, you're probably right. I mean, really, Jon Stewart is the left's Joe Rogan, right? Like, I mean, it would be great. And I know Jon Stewart has a podcast, but it's not super popular. There's something too. Like, I'm doing a video right now. I'm currently creating a video in the tone of the video I just released today, the oligarchy video, where it starts at the beginning of Rogan's career and goes through the bro podcast to the intellectual podcast to the conspiracy podcast, all the eras of Rogan. And I think somewhere in there, there's a formula for somebody like a Jon Stewart to figure out like you need to bring on people that are smart. Like politically, you could bring on people like AOC or Buttigieg, people that are like have big personalities or are really smart people. But I think you need to do more than that, because I think the appeal from Rogan isn't political. It's that he appeals to people like, specifically appeals to like the UFC fans for like his fight knowledge. And he appeals to people that just like want to laugh at some shit because of his comedian background. And then there was that era of time where he brought on these like super intellectual people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and Steven Pinker and Jonathan Haidt. He brought on all these guys, and I think that was really his golden age. It felt like that was when his podcast blew up the most, was when he was bringing on these kind of random people that like we didn't really like know. Well, I didn't know. And he was kind of bringing like a spotlight to him, giving him a platform. And, I think that goes back to like in Einstein's day, like scientists were kind of like celebrities, and nowadays, like scientists, teachers, professors, a lot of them are frowned upon actually and seen as like being some type of villain. But also like they don't seem to have like, the platform that somebody like them should deserve. There's my scout just getting the shit kicked out of it. So I would like to see Jon Stewart like not just talk to politicians, but bring on like really intelligent people that don't have much of that. So that way he's like kind of increases his reach to, an area of voters that currently aren't being serviced. They're not getting, oh shit, I should go over there and mine actually. We'll make a house. But yeah, that's what I think. I think Jon Stewart is really good for the left, but I think that he's probably not being used in a manner that would be like really helpful. And I think the left sucks at using it. To be honest with you, I fucking think the left is really bad at discerning what people want nowadays. They just seem so bad at it.
In the way it's meant as is like dude or hey you,
Sounding
something
DJ.
like that. You get what I'm coming from.
I do.
Of course,
The
people
throne
like,
of pandemonium.
See, I'm so smart.
Yes.
I didn't need to have this
Cypher's
explanation from
right.
her
Can't wait
to get where
spin
she
this
said
into
what
a
she
whole
said.
racist narrative about this racist Southern trad wife, which is all completely wrong except for the Southern part. I mean, I am a little racist, aren't we all? But racism is actually.
I hate that. Like, that's like such a cop out. That's like, you know, she's trying to take like the Shane Gillis, like everybody's racist when somebody like, you know, cuts them off in traffic. She's trying to like that apply that. Like, yeah, I'm a little racist, but everybody is. It's like, nah, not like you're saying. Okay, she didn't just be like fucking Asians. Like, you know, she was like, she literally dropped an N-bomb. It wasn't a little
It's
racist.
a good thing. It's like
It was a lot
self-preservation.
racist.
It's like the reason why gazelles are afraid of lions, not because they're racist against lions, because they've noticed a pattern that certain cultures.
Hey, listen with
I'm
your
listening.
ears. See if this makes sense. So far, does that make sense to you? Is that analogy strong?
Hi, Spencer Raskoff, co-founder and chair of Picasso.
Probably
coming to you
not.
from Harvard,
But to her
where
it
when I'm not
is.
working on Picasso,
She's like, damn, that
I
was
teach a
like,
course on
what are you
entrepreneurship.
talking about? That was gangster.
keep going.
That was good shit.
Gazelles to lions.
It's lions because they've noticed a pattern that certain cultures, certain species do not go well together, you know? And there are certain
What?
races that just
What?
don't like each other.
That
and they
shit's
don't do
racist.
Well. And the internet is full of videos, although
That
it's
shit's straight up
they're working
racist.
overtime to try to scrub them off. The internet,
where's the
videos
fertility
of black
goddess?
People,
We need a
of
fertility
Muslims
goddess up in
attacking
this
white
bitch.
Christian people. So that's the real narrative, but that's not the one that the left wants to spin
There it is.
and the woke mob wants to run with.
See, this
Always
would have been
go
so
with
much funnier if
fertility
she
rates,
used
guys.
like all the racial slurs for all the groups she just mentioned. That would have been really
I'm
funny.
feeling
and
Luke
so
Beasley
gross.
right now.
I know, I'm so gross. No, I mean, listen, I don't agree. They're not like different races are not different species. Come on.
This
No,
is
we are
crazy.
all
Did
one
you-
race. You fucking dipshits.
Some stuff
No, but
since the last
but I
episode?
want to make a point. There is
Jesus
a difference
Christ.
Who thought
between.
people can't change?
Okay, no, this has always been my belief. There's cultural differences. So Jamaicans are different than Black Americans. There's a completely different culture than. So it's
Yeah,
not about
no
race.
doubt.
It's about the culture. Even like white people that live in like the New York City ghettos. It's like the
Yeah, it's almost
that's what
like
they call themselves.
ethnicity doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It
completely
depends on
different
where you
cultures.
grew up.
So
Are you
Jesus
able to
Christ.
speak just as a normal person
what do you
No.
mean?
without all of these? Where do you find all these terms?
No, she's
I don't know.
not.
I read. Do you?
You read.
Just kidding. I don't. I'm
You
a
just-
woman. I can't read. I don't know. This is just what I know.
I think you're so afraid. You're so afraid
So scared.
He's trying
to
so hard.
look yourself in the mirror and
Look
blame
at Luke
yourself
Beasley.
for your failures.
Is this
remember
Owen
this?
Morgan
Yeah, I
style,
remember.
DJ?
You're just projecting onto all
Yeah,
women.
yeah. So
Except for it's like
It's become
instead of watching
easier for
crazy
you
pastors,
to
I watch
insult
crazy influencers.
half the population
Oh yeah.
to say, "Oh, all women must be like me." I promise they're not. Most aren't.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I
promise
strive
you,
to insult
most
actually
aren't.
69% of the population, so get that number
Oh,
correct. I know you don't like to
69%.
know the stats here. But I mean, I don't like I said last time, I don't
God,
take things
her
that
sense of
seriously.
humor is
When I
worse
got
than
into the right
mine.
wing in 2016, it was about three things: hating women, being racist, being anti-Semitic.
So funny.
Ah, the
Those
good old
were
days.
the three things.
That's what he's saying.
Do you think he's being
oh,
partly
the good old
serious?
days.
No.
You think all this is a joke?
Yes,
Even
because
though he's-
I remember politics in 2016. It was not like that at all. Things have gotten more extreme on the right side of things as a result of everything going so crazy left. That was not a thing in 2016.
Why?
I actually
why-
don't completely
I've
disagree with her
watched
right there, and
full
that's fucking
90-minute
scaring me.
Nick Fuentes trash.
You
And
watched more Nick Fuentes than me, you little
A little
boyper.
say, a little
And-
for
well,
you.
how do you think we prepare the
Forever
show? We have
and
to go
ever.
find
Oh,
things
God,
to
that's gonna be
talk about
stuck in my
clips and-
head now.
So
Way to go,
in
Cypher.
doing that, he's very serious about these anti-Semitic, racist, sexist views. Mm-hmm. I don't think your defense on everything. You don't have to defend him. You could just denounce him. But given
could.
that you find him really
You could.
just
do I-
lovable,
I find him lovable.
I don't know if saying this is all just for jokes.
Nick Fuentes
Wow,
is
so the
about
couple
to
times
take
I've retweeted
bro's
him because
girl.
the clip that I was retweeting I found funny, and now all of a sudden I find him lovable. I don't find any man lovable besides my husband. Okay, so stop putting those
Sure.
words into my mouth.
Okay.
Rolls eyes.
Okay.
That the 2016 revolution
K is right.
was
Luke.
all
Here's why I'm asking you about this.
Okay. Yeah, you
Stop.
remembered?
Stop.
You get to watch it.
Yeah, I'm such a victim.
You get to watch
oh
a
my
lot more of
gosh,
the
I'm
video
crying.
when I'm playing a game.
No,
Though.
I'm just trying to explain it because I'll explain with you.
Where's
So,
Mike right now so that we can be
he
like, sweet,
is
I
the
actually get
fringe.
to watch
How
the
do
video
you,
finally.
You're saying
Yes, he is the fringe,
MAGA is extreme already. You're saying you're more
It's not.
extreme than MAGA, right?
Yeah.
So where else do you go other than you're here?
No, I know. I would say I'm like in between. I don't know everything he says.
Okay,
That's the
okay.
thing. I would say I'm
Right, so we're figuring it out here.
stricter on abortion than Trump
So we're
is.
figuring it
You
out
know,
here.
I think Trump celebrates
Gandhi's
homosexuality and all
getting
these like
upset with
woke
me
things
that I have
way too much.
military.
Celebrate.
I don't even
Don't be
know.
mad,
I
Gandhi.
mean, he's Trump like
Just trying
champions
to
the fact.
protect
I
my
was the
border.
first sitting president to come into office who supported gay marriage. Like Obama didn't even do that in
We're literate
during his
now,
first
guys.
term. So like
We
he
got the
champions
writing.
that because he's trying to appeal to like
We
the
can read
more
and
like
shit.
woke, like big tent Republican idea.
Mm.
So I don't know everything Nick says, but I definitely am on the side of let's joke to the right and make like racist funny jokes instead of being like the conservatives that will like dress as a transgender person and like wear a skirt like Alex Stein and think that that's funny. Like you're not allowed to joke to the right. You're only allowed to joke to the left because believe it or not,
Wait,
people on the right
what?
succumb to a lot of the woke left narrative because deep down
Maybe it's because
they
people
want
are
their
just
approval.
hungry somewhere deep down for decency.
Yeah.
And it would be nice to
Men
Maybe.
wearing dresses
in
is
a-
decency.
No, to be in a more
Wait, who
generally
the fuck is wearing
compassionate society would be
dresses?
nice, and so prioritizing and incentivizing
Like those
hateful
damn
humor
trans people.
is less in vogue, which I think is fine.
I'm literally the most compassionate person online. That's why many people. That's why many people call me the Mother Teresa of our time, and that's not my words.
Now
that's
that
everyone
shit's
else's
funny.
words.
Okay,
See, it's unintentionally funny, but
was
it is
all
funny.
about. That's what the online right was about. That's what the right wing on Twitter was all about. It was about being sexist, being racist, being anti-Semitic. And I thought everybody was on the same page. As
What
time
if
has gone on, however,
what if Nick Fuentes got hit by a
the
bus? Would
only
that be a
thing that
bad
they
thing?
remain is
Just that's a
racist, and
hypothetical
that's it.
question. I'm not saying that violence
They're
should
not
happen to anybody
anti-Semitic.
at any point.
They're not
ever.
sexist.
I'm just saying.
They just beat
Like,
up on blacks
hypothetically
and
speaking,
Indians all
philosophy.
the time.
We're
And it's
doing
almost making me
philosophy right
sympathetic.
now.
It's like,
Would it
guys,
be a bad thing?
guys,
It's just a question.
we gotta shit on women too.
Look he's trying to like take some of the heat off blacks and Indians. How could you be upset about this?
Oh, I'll check that one out. I saw that.
What is your
on,
issue with
DJ,
blacks and Indians?
the,
how about we just
dark matter
don't
video?
hate on any group because of their identity?
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
You're hating on my identity because I'm a MAGA.
No, I'm
MAGA
hating-
person.
I'm hating on your ideology.
ideas. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
not on
See, I
you,
knew
on
exactly
your
what he was going to
ideology.
say. Honestly,
Uh-oh.
I was just
Yeah.
thinking.
Barbarian's gonna
Yeah,
steal
I
my
was
workers.
in high school in 2016 when Trump won. Like, I don't know the online political sphere at that time.
Neither
I
do
was,
actually.
you know, I just wasn't on Twitter, Reddit, all these things. But I would say today, in my opinion, I feel like things are ramping up.
I think a
in
woman.
The offensive
well,
joke
actually,
arena.
I think that
And
he's
that's good
not
too.
straight.
Oh my gosh,
so
I love
maybe
it.
a man.
Why
hurt
not
his
just
feelings.
actually
That's
stand
what I
for
think.
something? Do something, whatever. We already talked about that.
Yeah,
Here
I mean,
we
you
go.
can literally tweet the N-word now. It's amazing. Times are good. It's a word. Get over it. Stop being the victim on behalf of black
saying.
people.
You're the one
Yeah,
you
who
little,
does
you
that?
white liberal.
Why
Malcolm
can-
X hated people like
Can
you.
platforms not have a term of service that says, "Hey, we're gonna just say no slurs so that it's a welcoming environment for people"?
They can, but let me tell you, when I
Okay.
put
Well, yeah, and it's not like they do it for humane reasons. It's not like Twitter is like, "Yo, we have to stand up for civil rights." It's because they don't want to offend black people. Because they don't want people to not come to their fucking platform. That was like why it was. Like that's the reason people are leaving Elon Musk's Twitter. It's not because the left wants an echo chamber. It's because X is a fucking cesspit. It is a cancerous tumor of a platform. Like there is no joy in that place. There is no happiness. If you go to Blue Sky, one of the funniest things that I learned just like going to Blue Sky was I was like, oh, check it out. You can like follow these feeds that are like science and neuroscience and history. And there's like just like fucking feeds of cat pictures and shit like that. And I'll be honest with you, that could exist on X and I just wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know it because you're so distracted by the fucking crazy right-wing like hatred and anger that like if there is any science to be found anywhere in there, Like, you ain't gonna find it because you're gonna get distracted by fucking in-bombs and anti-Semitism and people hating each other. Like, it is like the weirdest place to ever be on, ever. And that's why people went to Blue Sky. It's not because the left was looking for like an echo chamber. It's because they're like, holy shit, all this anger and hate feels oppressive. So they went to like the aptly named Blue Sky.
Posted that video, which I regret, of my baby babbling word, like,
There's
you know,
way
she
more
didn't say
hate,
it, but
yeah.
it kind of sounded like it.
Yeah,
So that was
right, Nana?
not okay.
Right,
but then I
Nana?
could have a bunch of people flooding. I just like kissed the mic by accident. I'm sorry. I just had a bunch of people flooding the responses, largely black people, saying they were going to come and find and kill my baby. Like,
Oh, no
we
shit.
literally
I wonder
went
why.
To, like, a coffee
I wonder why.
place near our house, and he like, I need to make sure my gun's on me just in case, because it was so bad that we were literally afraid that we were going to have someone like try to pull up and kill us. Is that
So
okay? Death
they-
threats are okay?
Talk shit,
But
get
I can't
hit.
say the N-word?
That's how it works.
No, they shouldn't. What do you think I'm gonna say? Yeah, that's okay, but don't say
Is
the
it?
N-word. No, of course not. See,
Okay. Death threats or N-word? Pick one, go.
don't do either.
That's not an option.
Yeah, that's a stupid
Yeah, I made
fucking
it an
question.
option.
We should like do like a smash, marry, kill game, but with all like racial
Option
slurs,
C.
and then you have to pick which one.
That's
You're
what she
just
finds humorous. That's her shit
swimming.
right there.
In a
Now you're saying swimming, like that's like a stereotype against black people, like they can't even swim. Like you're really going to use that? You see how racist
right, that's
he is?
just
Come on, this internalized
Jesus.
racism is insane.
She's like
What? Now we're
flirting
gonna talk
with
about
him.
watermelon and like grape soda.
Alright, can we take a break?
Nice, thanks, Cypher.
Meet Suvi 3.0.
Oh, is
Plus.
that the husband? The
latest
husband's in the
all-in-one
background
kitchen
telling her
robot,
to take a
now with
break.
air fry.
because
That's
I know that your
hilarious.
whole thing is trying to make liberals angry. I'm just gonna say it again.
She's fucking nuts, Danny.
You're gross, and we'll go forward. Okay?
He's so triggered, guys. Pray for him.
Let's not forget that on January 6, 2021, his supporters, including myself, stormed the Capitol. For legal purposes, I'll say I'd never entered the building, which I
Okay,
didn't.
actually, can we pause real quick? I could have sworn I've heard him say in the past that he wasn't there, probably for legal reasons, as he says now. So what? Now that Trump is going to be in office, he can say he was there.
You know how infuriating this is.
Who cares though? Like, I don't care. I'm just like curious. Like, okay, well,
Who cared?
well, he probably, if he
Jesus
did, I don't even know. I
Christ.
wasn't there. I don't know if he was there or not.
Nothing
I
is
don't freaking
less
know.
satisfying than explaining things to you because then you just go, wah, wah, wah. You
no,
don't even
no.
say anything interesting. So the
Yeah,
reason
they
that
never
I care
admit that
is
they're
because
wrong.
right here he's about to admit.
They're like, oh,
that
anyways.
it's crazy America
Uh-oh,
would elect
fucking
Trump
barbarians
after
at the gate,
Trump lied
boys.
to people about elections with no evidence, and then that caused people to violently attack the Capitol, leading to deaths, like even a Trump supporter, which is why Trump should be blamed for that Trump supporter's death. And
Yep.
all of that was in the interest of
Ashley
overturning
Babbitt
the
died
certification
because
of
of
election.
Donald
That's the
Trump.
most notable thing you can possibly imagine with our democracy.
I was actually just thinking, wow, I've heard him say other things in the past, but you have to remember that J6ers are literally in prison right now. So obviously you're going to be careful
Aw.
about what you say and admit to online.
And
so I
how
get
do you
it.
feel about Trump saying he's going to pardon them? Are you okay with that?
I think he should.
Why?
Well, I don't even know the specific J6ers
Dude,
that are like
Biden
in
should just
prison
fucking
for what they
pardon,
did. 'Cause
like,
I didn't
a
follow
fuck
it that
ton of
much.
criminals,
So what?
just
can
for
you
the fun of
enlighten
it.
me as you love to
It's
do?
like anybody that
should-
hasn't done
you
a
should
violent
follow
crime. Like,
one
as
of the
long
most
as, like, no
notable
violent crimes, like, just pardon
anti-democratic
anybody that hasn't done a
act
violent crime.
in American history. That's like a pretty notable thing.
Fuck it. You gonna
I
let
didn't
the
know what you just
January
said.
6 people
That
out?
is
I
like
say
a
let
pretty
all the
notable thing, is what I
non-violent
said.
offenders
All
out
right,
as well.
send it to me.
Send what to you?
The thing that you just said I should follow. Is it an account? What is it? What is it? What is it? What's the anti-democratic thing? I don't even. You're saying I follow?
It's at January 6th.
Okay, send it to me. That's what I mean.
No.
Why is he cackling? Like, come
Oh
on.
my god.
Everyone
What
in
do
the
I
room is
think of
laughing.
this
I don't
lady?
get the joke.
What do I think of this lady? I think that she's pretty much the prime example of what's wrong with society. I actually think that she probably lives in a place where she doesn't have to like deal with the consequences of anything that she says, which is a big problem. Aristotle said something like, so when he was talking about villages and stuff, right? Like he's talking about community because he believed that community was like the most important thing. And it's like the individual becomes a group, the group becomes a village, the village becomes a city, And the reason that happens is because you all depend on each other. When you're by yourself, you're always looking for somebody that like does better for you, right? So then the next person needs your help because you have a skill they have that they don't have, and then that turns into a village, and then the village needs more people with more access, with more resources, so it turns into a city. And he said, when you live outside of the community, you become either a beast or a god. And all of these people believe that they're gods, right? Like there's like this narcissism complex that tells them like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm so good, especially when they achieve any type of success, which I don't think that this girl has. I don't think that this girl has very many followers. But you know, whatever financial success that she's achieved, she like feels pretty good about it. And the reality is that for the most part, you turn into a beast, and that's not like a beast as in a good thing. It's as in you like, you know, you lose like your couthness. You don't have like ethics anymore. You don't have etiquette. You no longer follow the rules that like are necessary to bind a society together. And I think she's the prime example of that. I think that she probably lives within a bubble where she doesn't have to deal with any kind of repercussions for the things that she says or does. And so it's like really easy for her to get away with saying these things. And then when she gets any kind of like reward from it or gratification from it, it just like continues to encourage her. And that's like the biggest problem with our society right now, is that our society is a look at me society, where it's like, instead of like trying to do something good, instead of trying to like be helpful, it's like that doesn't make money. Like I thought about the other day about like how you could start like a Big Brothers kind of thing for young men, right? Like you could create some type of and obviously people have, but I think that it's even more important that people do it nowadays, where you had like, you know, liberal types, social liberal types that were capable of speaking to young men and helping them to grow as human beings, and you could do that, but obviously you wouldn't want it to be influenced by money, because the moment that money got involved in it, then once again, you start to get corrupted, but then you need money to be able to do it. So you would really have to like do a great job of interviewing and like kind of, doing background checks and stuff, and like figuring out like who's a good person that's going to do things for good reasons, not specifically for financial gains. Like, because there are people out there that are like that. People don't want to believe that, but there are people like that out there. But like, it's a really like lazy way about going life, right? Like you just say the shocking, mean things that the people that want to hear them want to hear, and then you make money off of it, right? Like, so that's what I think of her. I think that, to be honest with you, do I think that like she's not very smart? Yeah, I don't think she's a very smart human being, but I think that at least part of it is just like, I'm sure some of the things Luke Beasley says to her, she like hears and understands. I mean, you can even hear it a little bit like in some of her like retorts, that she like is fighting against her own intelligence to say the shocking thing rather than the intelligent thing. I don't think that she's like really smart, but she's probably like basically intelligent, but doesn't choose to indulge in it, because that's not what people want. Like there's like a real like fantasy on the right of women being stupid and incapable, because it makes them feel more secure, right? Like they want to like feel like a 1950s man that goes to work and, you know, brings home the bread. And you like, you know, look at guys like Ted Cruz and stuff like that. Guys who aren't like actually traditionally masculine. They're not really masculine guys. Look at Michael Knowles. Look at Jesse Waters. Like none of these guys are like traditionally masculine men. But if they like can convince people that women are just like really stupid and they're like incapable of doing things, then like it appeals to them because it makes them feel really secure about themselves. I think that that's her appeal. I think that she found an easy grift. I think that's what she wants to do. I think that it's probably making her a very marginal amount of money, but it's enough to give her gratification. And she probably wants to continue to see it through until she makes real money, because eventually someone's going to be like, "You're hot. I'll give you $100. Yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think about her. Very attractive doll that does chores. Yes. Attention economy. Yep. It's we're all a product of society, and it's rigged against us is just what I think. Yeah, I think that I don't believe it's rigged. I think that it's just, to be honest with you, I think that, okay, when I say rigged, I generally mean that it was like done in that manner on purpose. I think that some of it was rigged and some of it fell in place. I think that that's like the problem with the wealth gap when you look back at like Theodore Roosevelt and you look back at like even Franklin with the New Deal, you start to see like where human beings can like do good things for society. So like Theodore Roosevelt was very antitrust. Theodore Roosevelt was really pro-worker. And you can see like how he really put forth his best efforts to like kind of level the playing field. And that's why we had like the original, demolishing of the first Gilded Age, was that certain presidents got put into power that were very socialist, that demolished the corporate monopolies. And as that went forward over time, we had, Reaganomics. We even had like Clinton reaching across the aisle to blue collar Republicans. Obama even, reached out to corporations and wasn't very antitrust. And that's why I keep saying is like Joe Biden actually is one of the best presidents we've had in probably 30 years because of all this antitrust legislation. And I think that what happened is that you get this like really large wealth gap that has been created that at this point is probably past its tipping point. It's probably not coming back. And the worse the wealth gap gets, the harder it's going to be on your everyday middle class or lower civilian. Like it's not logical to think that you can just have that much wealth and property owned by that few people and believe that you're ever going to have any upward movement out of the impoverished or middle classes without social safety nets. It's just fucking insane, to be honest with you. It's crazy. When they think they're triggering the libs, that's all they need. Yeah, exactly. If they think they win by just like making you mad, which is like the weirdest. Like, it's such.
I've never seen him laugh this hard. I'm so happy that I make you so
shit.
like happy and like ecstatic.
Laughing at you, not with you, but
okay.
Laughing at you,
wow.
not with you. Good job.
Wow.
Good job.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm such a victim because of you. Gosh, the misogyny.
Okay.
See what I mean? Like she knows
Not
what she's saying. That like that's like ridiculous.
You take too literally.
She's just like leaning into
He
it,
said
right?
on me.
So.
It's
Should I
time for
explain or
animal
I might
husbandry,
just
boys.
Feel more
is
pleasure
it-
leaving it there.
Well, like what? Tell me after. Let's move on.
This is heavy.
Washington's
It's warm,
taking a very
loads
long
of
time to build.
I'm impressed with it. This is the basket.
No.
What is it?
You said you don't really follow the January 6th stuff, right?
Okay, right.
That wasn't a literal account on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
what the
Okay, now I see.
Yeah. So I'm saying
Oh
you
my
should
God.
follow, like in a general sense. you
That's
should
what I mean.
keep
She's
up
actually
with-
not
Now I see
smart.
why y'all-
That's
you
I don't
guys are
think
all
she's
laughing.
playing
Right.
right there.
Yeah,
How do
okay.
you
I don't
feel?
think
I get
she's
it.
playing right there.
I feel like that was a really stupid thing of me to say, but it's
Okay.
funny. Like
Okay.
I can have humor and like laugh at myself for being
Oh, good job.
stupid. I was gonna say the R word, but I'm trying to help your editor out because he's a really nice guy.
Oh, look at that.
I know. I'm so considerate.
So my point is, let's
I'm
watch.
stupid,
the rest
is
of
your
this.
point. Okay.
I need to take a
Slinger.
breath.
Yeah.
My lungs hurt.
We
from
need
laughing.
military needs to be
So
strong,
let's watch
boys.
the rest of this, and then I'm going to explain
Okay.
Very
why trying
important
to
to have a
overturn
strong
elections
military
is bad.
back in these days.
But rhetorically speaking, okay,
yeah,
Yeah.
government
Mr.
works
Supporters
really slow.
stormed
Yeah,
the U.S.
I'll
Capitol
check it out, Cypher.
in order to stop the transfer of power
Capitalistic
from the Democrats to
nihilism.
the Republicans.
Oh, God, that sounds
just like the
horrific.
media
But
said.
that
The
sounds
media
real,
said
too.
he won't admit that he will concede defeat. They said when we do the election, he must swear that he will affirm the result because what if he doesn't give up power? And he almost didn't. He never conceded defeat.
Yep.
He refused
Fucking
to
Nick
concede
Fuentes,
throughout
of all
every
people.
constitutional
Jesus
procedural
Christ.
deadline. He challenged the result everywhere, summoned his supporters, and then at the last deadline, he summoned all of his legions to the capital city, where he gave a speech outside the White House and directed them to
Like this, the scary thing about what he does here is he does it as a shtick, but he's like, he knows that what he's saying is like, for the most part, true, and that's what triggers people on the left is that he's saying something that is like 95% correct, right? But he's saying it in a way that like the left can't agree with him, except for like, yeah, all those things happen, but we also know that you're full of shit, right? And that's like, once again, it's just like her what she's trying to build to is somebody like Nick Fuentes, right? Like Nick Fuentes didn't become, popular probably immediately. It probably took him a minute to like garner a certain type of audience. Like he has like a very weird, set of following, a very 4chan style of following. And that's what she's probably building to, is this idea that you just got to find people that are willing to hear like the weird shit that you say, understand that part of it is like just like your like persona that you're playing. It's like WWE almost, right? Like, oh, well, I probably like, you probably think he doesn't believe everything that he says, but he would tell you that he believes everything he says, if that makes sense. Oh, I need more housing. I'm just like real America. Oh, yeah, like I said, it's his persona, right? Like, so I grew up with like hustlers and con men, right? So I knew like somebody came to you and they're like, yo, I want to sell you something. Like, you knew immediately to be on your guard, right? Like if somebody had somebody rode up to you and they're like, hey, I got this bike. You want to buy this bike? $50. And you're looking at the bike and you're like, that's a GT Mach 1. That's worth more than $50. Like, something's wrong here. And you're like, where'd you get that bike, dog? Oh, it's my bike. It's my bike. It's my little brother's bike, actually. Like, I need $50. I just need $50. I know it's worth more than that. And like, you stole that shit, didn't you? Like, right? Because like probably like 3-4 hours, some vatos from fucking, the east side are gonna come over and be like, yo, that's my bike, dog. Like, when somebody's trying to hustle you when you grow up with that shit, right? The con. And so when like you're watching this kind of stuff, the problem with Fuentes is that I look at him and I go, I see the con. I understand the con. But at the same time, it's not him that's specifically scary. It's the people that follow him that take him seriously or use him as a catalyst for hate, right? It's like all the people that follow him that retweet his shit that are much scarier. He's just kind of a fucking buffoon. I don't think that he should, well, I don't know that he shouldn't be allowed to do it, but I don't think people should follow him, obviously. I think people should, if you're a right-winger, you should realize that this fucking guy is conning you. And if you're a left-wing person, like, obviously you just shouldn't follow him because he doesn't believe any of the shit that you say, or even if he does, he espouses beliefs that are not something that you should be into. So it's like, I think that there's like this, like, acceptance on the right that there's generally not on the left, and that's probably a lot of people on the right accept the fact that Fuentes isn't really the persona that he puts forth being, and they know it triggers the left, and everybody's like, he's a fucking Nazi, and it makes them like, once again, it's almost bad for the left to react to Fuentes in that way, to call him a Nazi and stuff like that. Even though he straight up says he's a white nationalist, it almost makes the left look goofy to lean into it. It's like a catch-22, to be honest with you, because if you don't say, yeah, he's a white nationalist, well, he straight up says it. So you look fucking dumb for not agreeing, right? But if you do say that he's a white nationalist, people look at him and go, like, that, you're scared of that guy? That's who you're scared of? That's the guy you're worried about? That's your next Hitler? Like, it's a catch-22 type of thing. It's almost like, I mean, to be honest with you, it's probably best to just be ignored, right? Like, that's what I guess I would say is, like, I know that what Luke Beasley's doing here, and what I do sometimes too, watching this shit, right, is you're, like, trying to mock them and, like, point out how, like, they're dumb. But, like I said, I think that's actually, who was it saying? I think it was Trent, one of my conservative subscribers the other day, was like, well, aren't you giving him the attention that he wants? And he's like, at the time I said, well, I like to mock this to show that it's stupid and it shouldn't be done. But he might be actually correct about that, because I do think that, unfortunately, by me showing it to people on the left, I think that there's a lot of people on the left that then look at it and get like super worked up and they're like, fuck this guy, it's like, oh, he's practically Hitler, and then it kind of makes you look bad because people on the right are like, that guy? That's who you're worried about? It's just like this girl, right? Like, she shouldn't be taken seriously. But at the same time, the effects that she has should be taken seriously, if that makes any sense. Like, the person themselves aren't in any way like scary to me. It's the effects that they have on the people that follow them Those are just people that are looking for reasons to be angry and hateful, and these types of people just provide an easy access to it. Like, they're almost like their catalyst or their reason to be able to say like hateful and mean shit and be like, yeah, other people agree with me. So like, yeah, it's a conundrum to like say what you should do about something like that, because like I think like mocking it is good, but then again, some people on the left like look at him and take him super fucking seriously, and yet, like I said, there's dumbass people that follow him instead of your body, my choice shit. Like, there's a lot of stupid people. I mean, really, at the end of the day, I still stand by the fact that it's education. Like, I still stand by the fact that people need to be more politically literate, more media literate. I think that's the only way you fight this kind of shit, to tell you the truth. Yeah, it's super offensive. I don't, disagree that it's offensive. I just think that the left kind of plays into his shit sometimes by giving him
to protest the results outside
attention.
the Capitol, where it was being
like
calculated.
I said, I disagreed with it
and they
yesterday, but I don't know that I
and
disagree with it
now,
today,
don't get me wrong.
to be honest.
That is a whole other conversation, whether it was
Britain
organic,
likes that. Is
whether
Britain?
there were bad actors
England.
involved,
England
whether it
likes
was a
that
plot.
I got a
That's an
strong
altogether
military.
separate discussion.
Let's go England.
It is true that whether
America
there were
and England,
some
back
agitators or none, and I think
run,
there were
Scout.
some, his real supporters did breach the Capitol. They did break the windows. They did enter. They did beat cops. Okay, that happened. And they sent in the cops, the riot police to break it up. The DOJ arrested thousands of...
Yeah, and see, he's just doing this to make the left mad. He's just doing it to get it, to trigger you, to be like, look, I'm saying it out loud. Doesn't that make you angry? And to be fun, or to be 100%, he's actually also doing it to trigger certain people on the right that are also not understanding that he's doing this as a persona to gain a following of people that are into that kind of shit. Like, troll culture is, in my opinion, one of the triggers of of declining population. Like, I think that there's a lot of triggers that decline, or not population, but declining, culture. I think that what we're looking at right now is like all these people that have been like socially removed from each other, where, ironically right now I'm going to say it, but we're terminally online. We don't spend enough time reading books or reading print. We spend a lot of time consuming education in like 15-second formats on TikTok. I think that guys like this get really super popular, and so they're featured more often in things like TikToks or on Instagram or on YouTube, so they're seen more often. So you're not consuming like good education. Instead, you're consuming like entertainment education, and that's one of the triggers in my opinion. But I also think like troll culture, because that culture was my culture. That was Generation X. That was Generation X, and what is it? Who came after X? Millennials, right? So it's like Generation X and Millennials were the troll culture. It was like where all that shit started, where like people started trolling people on forums, people started using 4chan, people started playing in Call of Duty lobbies, all that stuff. Like, that's the kind of stuff that, in my opinion, has really like actually degraded society, to be honest with you.
Of them. And it was
nice,
after
Mitchell.
that
That's good to fucking hear.
that Trump got elected in he won the popular vote in a landslide
1488.
after that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Turns out he didn't win the popular vote in a landslide. He did win the popular vote, but it's actually really narrow as we're getting more votes.
I don't think he's a smart person.
Is,
There's a big difference
I feel
between.
like that...
There's many different types of intelligence, right? And as we all know, there are a lot of educated people that are not intelligent, and there's a lot of intelligent people that aren't educated, right? And then in between that is the spectrum of intelligence and education. I don't think that people like Nick Fuentes or this girl that he's talking to, that Luke Beasley is talking to, I don't think either one of them have the motivationary, I don't think that's a word. Is that a word? Motivationary? Motivational factors that should lead them to want to become more educated or intelligent, right? Like, they can exist just in like that, like kind of morass of being kind of semi-stupid and semi-uneducated. and no one's going to like, that's their shtick. So that's their persona. So it actually appeals to their audience that they stay that way. Right. So like, do I think that he like believes a lot of the stuff that he says? Probably, I would probably say like 60 or 70%. I'd say probably a lot of it is just hyperbolic thinking about how he control people. And then probably at least 60 or 70% of it, he's probably like, I don't know, it could be true. It's probably real. Like, you know, that seems like her attitude too. I think both of them are like that. Yeah, I like the shorts. Yeah, Jon Stewart shirts too. Yeah, I'll see if I can't share any Jon Stewart stuff, Sean, because his Comedy Central copyrights all my shit. Like, I fight disputes. I've literally talked to Paramount's lawyers before. That was like the scariest time of my life, to be honest with you. I was like, am I seriously gonna like lose my house over a fucking YouTube video?
Proves like it's a
So I'm real careful
a referendum
with,
on the
Jon
Democratic
Stewart
Party.
clips
Like
and
even
stuff like
after that narrative was pushed so much, and he's right. Like even though there was probably some bad actors that, you know, made it happen and get more violence, there were also some Trump supporters that engaged in that. Which, by the way, like I said last time, I'm not like a protester. I don't get why people do that. I like to stay at home in my bubble with my daughter and my husband. I would never do that. I don't agree with that. Whatever.
Anyways,
it shows that despite that, he still won the popular vote. I don't care if it's by
he's feeling
one or like a million votes.
He won in an electoral landslide.
Because Joe Biden was that bad.
I can play his podcast.
Did you
I
see
bet
the
I
thing,
can
by
play
the way,
Jon
where
Stewart's podcast.
Joe Biden allegedly
it's just stuff to do
wanted
with
Kamala
Paramount.
to like to
Anything
come
to do with
after him
Paramount.
as
They
like a
fucking hate me.
FU to the Democratic Party, and he was like smiling so much with Trump. Did you see that?
The smiling with Trump doesn't really play a role in it, but I did see that he was trying to leverage his own power by endorsing Harris. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that makes me feel like he has more cognitive abilities than like we think. I was like, okay, that's kind of
And also
boss.
maybe like the fact that he had a really historically successful presidency.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah,
But
see,
I guess
like she doesn't
I
want
don't
to
know
talk
if I'm
about
going to
that
get you to
'cause
acknowledge this. And I'm seeing why some people don't understand.
It's ridiculous
the
that people will
of
not
preserving our
recognize that
democracy,
Joe
which would have
Biden did a
meant
good
not
job.
voting in Trump.
I mean, you can hate
If they're
on
not-
his
if they struggle
policy
to
in
understand
Israel, and I
even
can
what it
understand
is
that,
that
but
causes Trump to be a
economically,
threat
he
to
did a great
democracy.
job.
But do you see how
It's fucking insane.
they're
You can't admit that.
Nick Fuentes admitting, yeah, the media was generally correct that Trump was so bitter about
Spain?
losing that instead of
I don't
just
know if I'm good with
conceding like
Spain.
every other candidate does,
Yes, I like
he created
Spain.
this
It's fine.
whole
It's
web
fine.
of
We're being
lies
nice to
about our
everybody.
elections
It's the
that
beginning
now
of
have led to a
culture.
lot of people
We're gonna
not
be nice to
believing our
everybody.
elections are legitimate when they are. And
What do we
he
need now?
lied so
I like
much and
money.
provoked so much that he got people.
Are we near the ocean?
Even if he caveated his
We're not
speech
near
with
the
the
ocean,
peaceful
are we?
patriotically thing, he did
Wait.
lead people
Oh, yeah,
to
we need-
that violent
what is
attack,
that up
which
there?
is not your
Jesus
fault,
Christ.
as you say. You
What is
you
going
know
on here?
you wouldn't do that. You don't support that.
Ah!
But you
Fucking
do
stop.
support the guy at least more than you would support
Is
Harris,
this fish?
who
Oh, it's
perpetuated
faith and
all those
culture.
lies.
Okay.
How do you not see how damaging it is to just lie about elections when you lose? And not just that, but to then assemble fraudulent electors.
We're going Archer.
This would be so hard to explain.
We need some Archer.
Do you know what the electoral college is? Of course
Yes,
you do.
yes,
So,
I do.
Imagine,
Yes. That's what you need to win. You don't actually need the popular
Okay.
vote. Yes.
So imagine states
I
certify
like that he has to
their
ask
state
her that,
elector
though.
based on who won. They send those electors to D.C. They are counted as a part of the electoral college. So Trump was trying to get just pro-Trump people to be the electors after the
Yeah,
states
she
had
does
certified
not
electors,
know.
and he got fraudulent ones
She
to sign
doesn't
forms saying
know.
they were the real ones, and he was trying to get Pence to certify those instead of the real ones.
Okay,
what
here
fake
I think we'll
electors are.
have
She has
some
no
agreement here a
fucking
little
idea.
bit, a little bit. I think that
Oh,
one
we're
of
doing the
Trump's
Hanging
like
Gardens for
pitfalls
sure.
is his ego. Like he cannot
Oh,
stand
no
losing.
shit.
And whether you think that he
You
was
think?
actually defeated or if you think that it was stolen from him, I
Oh,
don't
those
think
fuckers
that
burnt
going
my mind.
the route he did, constantly complaining about it, trying to like change these votes or whatever, was beneficial. I think you should accept it and then figure out, okay, the states that have election issues, like
they still
things
might-
that were
they did
changed, like
steal
in
my
Pennsylvania,
builder. Son of a
that was
bitch.
not like okay with their constitution, their personal state constitution, like fix those
Wrong,
things.
but-
And that was actually my
I-
biggest
I
concern
don't
going into
agree with
this
electoral
most
college
recent
either.
election is we're constantly talking about election fraud, but like, what are you guys doing about it? Because you can complain, but is anything going to be done? I didn't think
yeah.
he was going to win, so
And there's not widespread voter fraud, but yeah.
Poor Luke.
Amazon hates this,
poor
but there's
Luke.
nothing they can do to stop it. There's a new electric lighter out there, and
He's
it's got the
trying so
firepower.
hard.
So right now, big in the news, and when this comes out, it might be a little bit late
Poor
news, but I
Luke.
do want to get your take on it. a big controversy is that Trump has nominated Matt Gaetz to be his attorney general. So tip top of the food chain of law enforcement. And this is a bad idea because of Matt Gaetz' ideology. But of course,
what about it?
Well, that's more of a side thing because of course Trump's going to pick someone with a bad ideology from my perspective. But even personally, he's mired in controversy, as you'll see in this clip.
This morning, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is under investigation. The House Ethics Committee revealing that it is continuing to probe Gaetz over explosive allegations, including that he engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, and that he sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct.
And then to continue on that, media reports House Ethics Committee witness says she saw Matt Gaetz having sex with a minor. Saw it. What? What are the logistics of that? A woman told the House Ethics Committee that she personally saw Matt Gaetz having sex with a minor at a party in Florida in 2017.
We're going to become an empire right now, boys.
So Trump was found liable for sexually assaulting a woman in a civil trial.
Jesus Christ, Cypher.
Matt Gaetz.
That sounds like something that could fucking actually happen.
Very much influencing our law. Matt Gaetz, the enforcer of the law, if Trump gets his way, also
that barbarian's
allegedly
my scout.
Engaged in sexual misconduct, what do you call it? And has this passed.
Don't run from me, Builder.
What's the deal, Isabella? What's the deal with these freaks being at the top of your party?
Let me ask you a very simple question, Luke. Do you think people can lie?
Dude, that much, like
yes,
every
because
time.
Of you.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, so
they just like all the time.
This woman
There's
claims
so
that
many
she,
lies.
like witnessed Matt Gaetz having sex with
These
a minor.
people are like, don't believe any
That doesn't
women.
mean it's true. Obviously,
Like
by the
any
way,
of them.
putting on record, if that's true, he should be in prison and like castrated. That's disgusting, obviously.
I don't know about castrated. That's
I
kind
do
of
think that.
random.
I'm down.
Yeah, no, like pedophiles
I'm
should
down.
absolutely be
But
castrated.
definitely in prison.
But
I'm actually,
okay, we
I
can
agree with
on
her
that.
on this one.
Anyways, that doesn't
I
mean
actually
it
agree
definitely happened.
steadfastly
And by the
with her
way,
on that one.
do you think if it really happened, he wouldn't be behind bars? Come on.
Well, sometimes these things are difficult for the DOJ.
The proof, like
to make sure beyond a reasonable doubt.
See, we agree sometimes.
But, with him, he's
every once in a while we agree on stuff.
Greenberg, what's his name? Joel Greenberg.
Who is that?
Gates' one-time friend Joel Greenberg is currently serving an 11-year prison sentence after reaching
I'll be
a
honest
deal
with
with
you, if I ever get
prosecutors in May
banned for saying
2021,
something like
in
that,
which
I'll
he pleaded
take
guilty
that
to
shit.
multiple
I don't give
federal
a fuck.
crimes,
I'll be
including
like,
sex
yep,
trafficking of the woman.
I'm taking that
when
one.
she was a minor and
Standing
introducing
on
her
that
to
one.
other adult men who also had sex with her. So he has this relationship with the guy. The guy's currently in prison.
Dude, Stewart is fucking
And then there's not enough
10
evidence
times,
to get
10
Gates,
times the man.
But you have just this concerning bits
Yeah,
of evidence.
but
And
that's
then
because
the
you have a
House
strong
Ethics
woman, Sean. Like that's the
investigation
kind of
report
woman
can't
I
be
grew up
released
with, right?
because Matt Gaetz
Like,
resigned.
not like some conservative girl that's just like, yeah, I just
It's
do
just
whatever
crazy. The party that was saying
my
we're the
husband
groomers
tells
is
me
going to put this
because
guy's
that's the
general.
grift that we
I mean,
have going.
I don't know that specific case, but people can plead
Have you
guilty
seen
to
her
things
husband
for different
too?
corrupt reasons.
Her husband
I don't
does
really
not
know
strike
exactly
fear in the
what
heart of
happened there, but
anybody.
I do know Matt Gaetz.
He's got the worst
personally,
beard I've
and
ever
I-
seen.
Why are you like making like that face? And him and his wife are lovely. And by the way, there's a lot of people, a little inside knowledge, by the way, guys. A lot of people in politics, they travel without their spouses, a lot of men, and they cheat on their spouses. And Matt Gaetz is always with his wife.
You know why Matt Gaetz is always with his
lovely.
wife?
We like bonded over buying our favorite clothes
Because
off
he's not
Poshmark
allowed to go
because
anywhere
we like
without
deals
her.
and we buy clothes secondhand because we're just one of the real people.
I can think of one reason that's not super lovely that the wife feels the need
Yeah.
to constantly be
Good
by
job.
Gates' side.
Good
Really?
job, buddy.
Oh my gosh, what? She has to make sure he's not doing human trafficking.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh my
that would
gosh,
be
that
it.
makes so much sense.
That does
Yeah,
make
I think it's a
sense.
bunch of leftist propaganda. I'm like so over like the 3-letter government agencies. In my perfect world, Trump would just get rid of all
3-letter
of
government
them.
agencies. Jesus fuck.
I'm curious what it's like to be in your head. What do you think happened if we just got rid of all the 3-letter agencies?
That's a great question. Like, what replaces it?
Oh fuck! That spear grip just murdered my.
Like, if we
slingers.
just got rid of them, what's that look like? I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I know that these 3-letter agencies are supposed to be serving the
fallen
American
behind in
people,
our
but they
military
often are like
capabilities, boys.
investigating
We're in
the
trouble.
people.
We should make. These are the
We are in big
organizations
trouble.
that prevent terrorist acts and
Yeah.
go after serial killers and do
Yeah.
all these drug trafficking things, human trafficking. Yeah.
I would say it's not like everyone in the FBI or the CIA that are bad. It's the people at the top tier that are like more corrupt.
What? School board parents and school board meetings.
Yeah.
No.
Was that the point?
Who mentioned the school? No.
I thought you were. Well, then what's the thing?
No.
What do you mean? Who are they
Karens
going
at
after?
school board meetings, go off, queens. Go off.
No, that's not what I meant. I'm saying,
my
who
God.
are you? Who is the DOJ or the FBI who are going after unfairly that makes you think we should burn it down?
Campbell's. It's all Campbell's fault.
There's like this,
Campbell's
thing that the CIA allegedly
government.
assassinated JFK.
Just wait until Trump's in office and they just like tell all the conspiracy theorists that they're correct about all these things. They're just like, yeah, like we looked at the JFK stuff and there's totally a second shooter. Guess who it was? Hunter Biden. You know, Trump supporters can't do math. So if they told Trump supporters that Hunter Biden was the second guy on the grassy knoll, they'd be like, that makes sense. He had a gun and he was on drugs. That makes a lot of goddamn sense if you ask me. Like, Trump supporters would totally fall for that shit. And then, like I said before, they're like, here's the Epstein list. And it's like 87% redacted, except for it has written in right here. It has somebody's name redacted, and then it says Joe Biden in pen above it. That's what's about to fucking happen, guys. That's what we're going to be looking at soon is when they start releasing all these supposed conspiracy theory things, and like all these conspiracy theorists are like, I told you it was true. These are like the easiest to manipulate people on earth. They are easily manipulated, aggressively gullible. Wait. What are you doing? I recommend you to that city state is to invite death. Oh, first of all, are you Germany? Germany, you better calm the fuck down. Germany, we don't talk to America like that, Germany. Yeah, war's about to pop off in civilizations, guys. Shit's about to happen.
I know you probably hate Roger Stone, but he wrote a whole book on it. I have not read it because I can't read. He's laughing.
Roger Stone.
Literally. What an icon. Another orange icon. I love that.
That's another thing I really like about the Trump supporter crowd. I read books. Oh, do you? Yeah, I read, what is the one RFK Jr. wrote? The Real Anthony Fauci. I read The Real Anthony Fauci. Or they're like, I read the Roger Stone book. Like, it's like, Jesus, fuck. Oh my God, so you read it like a fucking third grade level. Excellent. Awesome. Well, at least you did read one book. I feel like you should get some kind of like fucking Pizza Hut certificate for that. Like we used to get back in grade school. Holy shit.
That.
Is Roger Stone orange?
Yeah. Proudly.
Is he?
You would know, but you don't.
I didn't know
you
that.
don't like research things that much. Clearly.
Wait, what? Roger Stone, you think, made a compelling case that the CIA killed JFK?
Rachel
He wrote a whole book
Bilson.
on it. I
What
remember
is
reading
that?
his Substack before I had him. He was my first
Who is
interview
Rachel?
I've ever done
I'm
in my
too
life.
old.
I
I'm
don't
too
remember
old.
the
I don't know who
exact
Rachel Bilson is,
points
dude.
of the case,
Yeah.
but he did make a compelling case.
Because
Whatever Roger Stone says
because
goes.
of a conspiracy theory from over 50 years ago.
We got the wheel,
get
boys.
rid of agencies now.
In the words of Donald Trump, two
for
things
the
that will work
purpose
forever.
of-
Walls
These
and wheels.
agencies are using so much of American taxpayers to literally target fellow Americans.
Like?
I mean, which Americans?
Next is
Yes.
walls.
This is your
We got
That's a
wheels,
valid
now we got
question. That's a
walls,
valid
boys.
question. I don't know
We
specifically.
got a strong border,
Husband.
walls and wheels.
You
If this
don't-
is
you
this
guys-
is the most
Husband.
Trumpian America of all time.
Yeah.
The people who are reading their Bibles with the Catholic Church.
I promise
Wait,
the
I-
FBI didn't go after anyone for reading the Bible, but okay.
I forget.
Oh,
Like, I don't
okay.
remember that case.
I'll watch TV.
Because it.
I literally have never.
Or
I'm not one of these
sometimes
people that
I'll
are
give
like,
your
I don't
argument for you.
watch
Okay, ready?
TV. I'm like, no, I've just actually like never watched TV. To be honest with you. Oh, is the husband
Luke.
coming in?
The DOJ went after parents for just voicing their opinion during COVID during school board
Oh, he's just
school
doing
board meetings.
her.
Such a
Oh,
good
okay.
point, Luke.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
Because what you're talking about is during that period of time, school board members were being violently threatened, which is who the DOJ
Scout is fucking
released a memo
chasing me.
talking
You
about.
know what? Let's go then. Scout on scout violence. Let's go. Wow.
Luke, dear.
He's gonna keep doing this.
Oh, I
He's
won.
gonna keep
Dear-
getting you on gotchas.
Dear, I'm helping. I'm making a better argument than she was making, Josiah.
Oh my god.
Josiah.
Even though you are pretty smart,
This is getting kind of fucking weird, to be
about
honest with
how
you guys.
Trump was
I think
targeted.
there's about to be a love triangle
Really?
between Luke Beasley
You
and
are a
these two
child.
MAGA people. Is
Trump
this how
was
America
targeted
heals?
For
Does
being
America
just a good
heal
patriot.
by Luke
Actually, let
Beasley
me argue
hooking
this way.
up with two MAGA
The
supporters?
first case that Trump was indicted in, the hush money case, is a weak case
Ooh,
that wouldn't have been
Hanging
brought
Gardens
unless
were
it was
built.
only because
Yeah,
it was
boys.
Trump. And this is
We
all
got
just
the
a way to
Hanging
hurt him
Gardens.
politically.
Fruit for everybody.
Amazing. Next topic.
Wrong. I have to respond to your brilliant argument there.
I don't know the specific cases,
No,
and that's
the
why
whole
next time
point-
I'm with you,
the
I'm
whole-
going to bring the
Sorry,
cases
Cypher.
of the
Sorry.
DOJ being
Bring it. The
racist
reason,
assholes.
The bring it. The bring
just
it. What the
kidding.
heck? The reason I wanted to do that was to demonstrate. Often MAGA folks, I do understand what the theories are better than they do that they're bringing because they're sort of just lost in this.
Yes.
I'm going to think of.
I
The way
fucking
that a lot
feel
of conspiracy
that.
theories run rampant is you have thousands of just random talking points, and so you jump from one to another instead of really comprehensively understanding one. So, in preparing for my own segments, I'm looking into what you guys are saying, and
Oh,
one
dude,
of them
why
is
are
that
there
the
so many
reason
barbarians
the
in
DOJ
New
should
York?
be dismantled is because of how it's treated
That
Trump
sounds like a
specifically.
fucked up thing to
Okay,
say, to be
so-
honest.
Which is silly
Wow, there's
because
so
Trump
many
did some
barbarians
terrible,
in New
terrible
York.
crimes.
Okay, allegedly. Anyways, something I will, and I don't want to agree with you on or like commend you at all because that's despicable and vile. But what I will say, something that you do that a lot of leftists refuse to do is you will like try to understand the people that you don't agree with's arguments because that's, I don't know, the left never seems to care about what we think. Whereas, like for instance, I went to college, political science major like yourself.
Yeah,
you only
don't
learn
get to
about
talk
Marxist
shit to me in
theory.
Germany and then get to send
That's
your
at least for me.
delegation.
Like,
Keep your
that's
delegation at
for
home.
you. Okay, cool.
Wait, what? Only about Marxist theory?
I mean, did you ever like read
No,
a conservative
it is
like
not
political, like John
Josiah
Locke,
from
maybe
Pondering
the
Politics.
only
My
one?
It is
economics
Josiah the
101 was all
neckbeard,
about
her
I didn't take
husband.
economics.
Really? In political science?
Never once, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like conservatives
Oh, yeah.
try to
Final
see
Fantasy
where liberals are
Tactics is
coming
one of
from,
my
and then they
favorite games.
can debate them because they understand it and can
Nah, he's
dismantle
not
them. Where
leftist.
that's
He's
where you
like,
shine. I'm saying.
Thank you.
closer
I
to being
appreciate
like
the
an
compliment.
I'm just saying, like,
Democrat.
you
Yeah.
actually try to like put yourself in their shoes,
He's like an
understand the argument, and that's why
Democrat.
you can, you know, make me look stupid because you
I'd put
Yeah, okay.
Luke
Thank you.
is like,
allegedly make me look stupid.
I would say
Last
Luke,
time, I
Destiny,
spent
and
the whole
David
episode
Pacman all have kind
confronting
of
you
like
with your past
similar.
statements.
Luke and
While I think
obviously
you should be able to
David are
answer for
very
things you've
close,
said,
probably in their political beliefs.
I understand that was
Luke's like
I
a
got
much
to prepare for
nicer
that and you didn't.
version.
So this time you
of
brought
Destiny.
some things that I'm going to respond to, not about me. But
Yeah,
what could you
center
take
left.
issue
Yeah,
with?
establishment
yeah, you're
Democrats.
so boring. It's like I don't
Establishment
even want
Democrats,
to look at
center
your
left.
past stuff.
Because
Right.
they're always talking about reaching across. Yeah,
And
moderate.
So
Moderate
instead,
is
it's
another
other
good way to
people
say it,
on
yeah.
the left, allegedly. Oh,
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's not a
Took the reins.
leftist.
So first,
you know,
we're going to
this
talk.
is what I was trying to explain to somebody. Cypher, you'll understand this. I was trying to explain this to people. This guy used to come into my chat named Andrew, and he would come in and he'd give me shit for being a centrist. And I do at times ride the fence because when I don't feel like I'm educated enough about a subject, I tend to try not to make statements that I don't believe I can demonstrate. So sometimes, like Hamas, Israel, right? Like that's like I am completely out of my element arguing the Hamas Israel conflict. And so the safest thing, or not even, I wouldn't say safest, the most morally correct thing that I feel I can say is that any innocent civilians, regardless of their whether or not they're Israeli or if they're Palestinian, dying is bad. And that governments are the fucking worst shit ever when it comes to war because they will sacrifice the lives of their populace for any gain necessary. So that's like the most basic thing I can say, right? So Andrew would come in and he'd go, oh, like, there he is, the fucking enlightened centrist. And I like the guy coming around because the guy would just argue with me. And he was a leftist, a real leftist. And he got in my Discord and everybody in the Discord hated him. And at one point people were calling him Dark Cash, who is a subscriber or was like, he's a Trumper. I'm like, you don't know what an actual leftist is. So he's anti-military. He's anti, Joe Biden, all this stuff. I'm like, yes, he's a leftist. Like, I don't think people really know what like a leftist is. I think that people hear that word and they think he's on the left. Like, I don't think people understand. This is why I don't like political parties so much. Is because so much gets lost when you don't understand the definitions of the terms. You know that Socrates spent like a fucking like 90% of the time that he's talking about semantic definitions, because he knew that almost every argument was two people talking past each other. He knew that the majority of arguments was one person saying something that the other person believes means this, but they actually mean this. And I think when it comes to political parties, like that was one of the things I did, right? Like one of the reasons I changed, I tried to change the name of the channel because I felt like I do have very progressive values. Like when we talk about like equity, I do believe in equity. I do believe in social safety nets. I do believe in equal rights for all people. Like I do believe in progressive values, but I wouldn't say that I'm specifically progressive, right? Like there's certain points where I get to that like is a little too far left for me to like touch, right? Like some of it to me doesn't seem like super logical, or it seems like when we talk about it, like we're not talking about it from the point of view of like we're talking about what could be, not what is. And so a lot of my political values operate off of what is, not what could be. And not all of them, obviously, because I have progressive values. But that like, I felt like at some points it was causing like a little bit of a misunderstanding with the crowd, right? Like when people were like, but you're progressive, so you believe this. And I'm like, no, I don't believe that. But thank you for telling me what I believe, right? And so it just like the idea of parties just drives me nuts. I understand the need for parties, but at the same time, it's just like, it just needlessly causes all of this like confusion amongst people where you literally have people on the same side of the aisle that have minutely different belief systems that lead to these huge conflicts that end up like I actually booted the guy from the Discord because he told me I wouldn't. And if you want to get booted, if you would like me to ban you or boot you, just say the words, I bet you won't. You guys know Marty McFly from fucking Back to the Future? You know how it was like anytime somebody was like, what are you, chicken, Marty? He'd do that shit. That's me in a nutshell. Like, I'm like, well, guess I got to jump from this apartment to that apartment. I did that, by the way. Jump from one roof to the other because somebody was like, bet you won't. Yeah, I almost died a lot when I was a kid. No big deal. No big deal. But yeah, like it was funny because up to this day, Dark would still say, no, you was a Trumper. And it's like, because somebody won't vote for Kamala Harris doesn't make them a Trumper. Because somebody doesn't like Joe Biden doesn't make them a Trumper. There are so many different portions of the political spectrum that are occupied by so many different people that is very difficult to just like always pile everybody into being a Trump supporter if they don't agree with you, right? Like, so like, God, it just fucking drives me nuts. But anyways, yeah, sharing common ground is more significant than label identity. Cypher, I couldn't have said it better myself. Like I said, I think that's what drives me nuts about the Destiny Hassan shit. Like I know enough about the situation to get that there's probably some wounds there that will never heal completely and they'll never, come together. But that is completely a negative for the left that exists. Like there is so much positive that could be had if even just those two, even if those two could stop slinging dirt at each other. Because all it does is make people within your own party look at that and go like, they pick sides. So now you've got people like Destiny but hate Hassan. You have people like Hassan but hate Destiny. And I even remember one time watching a stream Destiny was doing where he said, I can't understand how anybody could watch me and watch Hassan. And I was like, I do that. But of course, I don't watch them very often, right? So maybe that's the difference. Maybe if I watched more of that content, maybe I would all of a sudden pick a side. But like I said, I don't like dramatics. I don't want to do that. I think that it's a huge issue, specifically on the left, that we allow small differences to cause huge rifts. And those rifts are just widened by the fact that the right understands that about the left and willingly adds fuel to that flame, and people on the left just eat it up. I mean, to be honest with you, how much you want to make a bet that that story about the alleged sex tape came from somebody on the right? Do I know the difference between the U.S. and most of the rest of the world's elections? Christian idolatry of a figurehead versus party platform. Yeah. Isn't that why, like, isn't the English system like a fuck ton of political parties? Aren't there like 8 or something like that? And they all have to kind of band together and form groups to win, right? They still have to form because I watched one night, I think it was July 4th. I jumped into an English person's English content creators channel and was like, "What's happening, British people? Happy birthday, America." And the guy laughed, and I was like, "Okay, you're cool. You laughed." And then I asked him, I was like, explain to me in American English how your political system works." And he laughed at that too, and then he explained it to me, but I don't remember all of it. Yeah, coalition. Yeah. Parliamentary and coalition, yeah. So I think that that's a big part of it, is that we don't like to recognize that our parties are fractured, right? We like to act like it's just Republicans and just Democrats. But the reality is that there's, specifically on the left, a lot of different factions. And those factions need to learn to get along. Or I legitimately believe that the left will never win another election as long as the type of animosity that exists between people like Hassan and Destiny exists. Because it's just like a continued, a negative for the party to, it's like, so let's say Destiny comes out and does something good. Let's say Destiny comes out. A lot of people don't know about Destiny, don't know about like his background and stuff like that. So let's say he goes on Piers Morgan, right? And he does a good job of debating, let's say, a right-wing nut job from MAGA that on January 6th. So he does a good job. So all of these people go, "Oh my God, this Destiny guy is actually really intelligent. I like that." Well, then Hassan says, "Yeah, but he's got an affinity for saying the N-word. And also, yeah, he's a terrible father. And yeah, his wife left him." It's like, God damn it. It's like, I think it's a little bit of professional hubris. It's content creators can't fucking take it when somebody else does. And obviously also a background between those two that I don't fully understand, that has some injuries that may exist till the end of fucking time. But that's so goddamn sad. And it goes both ways. Like if Hassan does a good job, like, CNN comes out and says, "Yeah, Hassan should be the voice of the left." So instead of like saying like, "Hey, I don't think that like he's probably the best for it, but maybe we could do something with that. So at least we've got our foot in the door." All right. So we got our foot in the door. Let's do something with this. Instead, it's like tear him down, point out that, he had a Houthi pirate on his show or whatever fucking dirt you have on Hassan, right? It's like, it just drives me nuts. A lot of people can't tell by Destiny's lack of denial of Fuentesism whether he did it or not. The crazy thing to me is like, I don't care whether or not like Destiny fucked Nick Fuentes. I don't actually care. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, I don't care who people sleep with. Like, that's what I mean is I don't like dramatics. I don't care who, like, as long as you're not hurting children, dog. Like, that's like when the Vosh thing, the only thing I know about Vosh was somebody said he was into horse prawn. And I was like, I don't really need to know that, to be honest. I don't want to know that. Like, as long as you're not hurting anybody, I don't need to know what you're into, okay? Like, we can make jokes about it. I know I make jokes about what I do sometimes. Jokes are fine, but I don't really need people's personal information. Like, I don't care whether or not Destiny cheated with Lauren Southern. I thought that they were in an open relationship anyways. Why do I even care? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of that stuff. Yeah, so we can do so. It's, yeah. And I get the entertainment factor, right? I mean, not me. I don't like that kind of stuff, so I've never been that type of person. I come from the ghetto, so it's like, if you wanted to, like, fucking watch some drama, you could just sit on your front porch, drink a 40, smoke a blunt, and watch the cops chase somebody through your front yard. Like, I watched a fucking guy get chased through the trailer park by a canine one time and get his just ball sack ripped open by a canine. Like, maybe I'm just, like, desensitized to the type of drama that other people think is drama. I'm like, I've seen, like, crazy shit. I was just telling somebody the other day, my brother-in-law used to fight his dad in the parking lot. And I don't mean like at like 15. I mean at like 30. Like, my brother-in-law was like in his mid-20s, late 20s, and his father was an alcoholic who lived in this camper. And he would, I shit you not, he'd have one of those big ices, the big fucking freezer ices in one hand, just like lighting his dad up with his left hand. Because his dad was an alcoholic, and his dad would fucking... And I'm not trying to say it's okay to fight your dad. It's not, obviously. I'm just saying, when it comes to, like, drama, I'm like... I had the dopest of the heroines. All this shit I see on the internet, I'm like, not enough. Maybe Destiny should fight his dad. No, not Redonk. Redonk is my stepbrother, not my. He's not my brother by blood. Redonk is he's a bit of a grunt, and he's definitely been in some fights in his life. That's why I tell people, you guys should leave that dude alone. But no, Redonk is my stepbrother, and well, once again, to be honest with you, there's another point of view. Like, people don't understand that Redonk isn't even a political person, but because he doesn't agree with everything that people believe about Trump, people label him as a Trump supporter. So once again, you could, if people in chat were like nicer to Redonk, if people in chat were like more willing to give him grace for some of the bad jokes, like, Redonk probably would be a left-leaning individual. He's got very, like, morally, he's a good human being. But because of the fact that at times he's not politically literate, and people say things like, Trump did this thing, and then he questions it and goes, well, how do we know he did that? And then people freak the fuck out, and they're like, he's a fucking Trump supporter! And it's like, you're doing it again! You're doing it again! You're chasing off somebody that could 100% be on your side, but instead you choose to get triggered and freak the fuck out, and you chase them off, man. Like I said, like, that's my show, is like, I'm never gonna not tell people what I think. Like, at the end of the day, like, does Redonk drive me fucking nuts with some of his political takes? Yeah, just like Rogan. Redonk is my Rogan, okay? But, you know, he's never once said to me that he was going to vote for Trump. We'll more like experiences and talking to friends. Oh, okay, you guys are talking to each other. Where we at? Where we at, America? Oh yeah, I forgot I was watching this video.
Destiny.
Oh, this is The Grudge.
Woke.
Oh wait.
Compliment.
I'm just saying that you actually try to, like, put yourself in their shoes, understand the argument, and that's why you can, you know, make me look stupid, because you
just yeah, okay. Thank you.
Allegedly make me look stupid.
Last time, I spent the whole episode confronting you with your past statements. Mm-hmm. While I think you should be able to answer for the things you've said, I understand that was I got to prepare for that and you didn't. So this time you brought some things that I'm going to respond to. Not about me, because what could you take issue with?
Yeah, you're so boring. It's like, I don't even want to look at your past stuff.
Wow.
Right. And
that's a pretty good
So instead it's other people on the left, allegedly. Oh.
Okay. All right, so
take the reins.
So first, we're going to talk about Destiny. You know, woke streamer. By the way, if you don't know Destiny, he had a former marriage.
See? Here you go. It's just going to be personal attacks. That's, like I said, the one thing about Destiny is that fucking guy can fucking debate. And this was my point with being a bit of a mercenary and understanding that there's different cogs in every machine, and each cog has its own job, right? Like, I'm sure that there's things that Hassan does that are really good, and there's things that he does that are really, well, not really bad. Probably just, like, that are a negative, right? And so it's like, focus on the strengths of the person. So I don't watch a ton of either one of these guys. I've probably seen more of Destiny than I have of Hassan because I've watched debates with Destiny. I've seen a lot of debates. I also was, when I first got on here, involved in Red Pill, not debates. I debated some guys, but it wasn't debates in my opinion. It was just arguments. They weren't like the level of debater that like Destiny deals with or whatever. But like his wheelhouse is his ability to debate people. And so it's like the left should be using that. And it triggers the right. He triggers the right because he fights harder than most people on the left. I have seen Hassan in a couple debates. He doesn't seem like a great debater. He seems like a well-educated person, but it doesn't seem like he like deals with like kind of like the combativeness of debates. And it seems like maybe Destiny is much more into that. He seems like a confrontational person. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I would do content with any one of these people. Just so you guys know. I know that that'll make some people mad. They're like, why the fuck would you ever do any content with? The reason I would is because I do believe that there are cogs. I believe that not everybody is perfect. Have not always been a good person. I have made bad decisions in my life. I have done things that I wouldn't say I'm like ashamed of, but embarrassed. There's things that are hard to talk about. There's things that I talk about honestly because I feel that it's important to talk about them honestly. But they're not things that I'm like super proud of, you know. Debating, oh dude, yeah, I do not like. I'm not a debater either, Cypher. Just so you know. That is no shade being cast at anybody else as far as their debate skills go. If I get in a debate, it's going to be nothing but ad hominem and me. Like, I enjoy my time in the debate, but the people that are watching, it's not debate. Like, they're, you know, it's not debate bro stuff. You can't tell me, yo, that's ad hominem. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You're stupid. The shit you believe is dumb. Like, I don't follow any of these stupid fucking debate rules. Like, I think it's crazy when people are like, well, the moment you go to insults, you've lost. I'm like, no, I just like using descriptive language. I feel it's important to let the viewer know that you're a fucking moron. And that doesn't really work out in the debate sphere very well. You know, like those guys are like, well, then you lost the debate. I'm like, did I, bitch? Did I? Because in my mind, I'm winning. Hard. Yeah, I'm not. Started from the park, now I'm here. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to be. Sorry, I haven't been playing this one.
I think they're now divorced. It was an open relationship, and she could F other guys. And shocker, it didn't work out. Anyways,
DJ's trying
he
to tell me
apparently
that I'm
just
not playing
said
the video.
that he doesn't feel bad for people if they go to a Trump rally and get shot and killed, which in my head, I'm like, damn, maybe you think this in your personal life, but to say this on camera, and I don't think you'll agree with this, is kind of shocking to me. And and then he also goes on to say that people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool,
she literally
they should
does
censor
this
the
shit
world
for
would be
fun,
much better,
and then she's like,
a
"It's
much
weird
better
that
place
he does this
for that." So if we just play this, or just
Conservatives have been disgusting for years, which is why I don't give a about anybody that winds up at any of these rallies and gets shot or whatever okay, because they had no problem making fun of Paul Pelosi. The entire world would be better off if these people were permanently removed from these platforms. Like, there is no downside and only upside to see people like Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tim Pool never be allowed to publicly broadcast their opinions ever again. It's exclusively bad stuff.
I don't completely agree.
So my wife got me this
but I don't completely disagree.
As a Christmas gift.
God,
I love her.
This guy with the knife thing, he keeps popping
I don't
up.
think you actually agree with that, but you tell me.
No, I don't at all. And the backlash that he got was understandable because, and this is something he does a lot. I've interacted with him a couple times, and he has these moments.
Destiny
like
makes it very hard for people to be able to stand up for him. Yeah,
solid arguments, and then he'll go off on unhinged things like that.
Yeah,
that no one should agree with. The point that I've made a lot about the double standard, where when MAGA engages in violence,
I think the world would be a better place if the Tim Pools, the Charlie Kirks, even the Dramatics didn't exist. That I agree with. Whether or not people deserve to be shot at a rally because you support a person, I don't agree with that. But there is a side of the argument where this man who did perish at that rally said something along the lines of like the Japanese deserve to be nuked. Like, my empathy does not extend eternally. My wife's does. She's the empathetic side of my relationship. At the end of the day, if you say to a bunch of people that they deserve to die in one of the most horrific ways possible, and then you get shot at a Trump rally, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Is that karma? It could be karma. I don't know.
MAGA justifies it.
Yeah, he was with Alex O'Connor. Poor Alex O'Connor was like,
Or when violence, even if it weren't a left-winger, is inflicted on, like Trump, for example.
That's what I mean, Sean.
Democrats all
the moment I get attacked, I just start attacking back.
Which is a part of why this is so against my values. Destiny saying that is because we're against violence across the board, even with people we politically disagree with.
Of course. So you condemn like the Trump assassination attempt?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
But again, it was Trump to this day, something that I don't see your site calling him out for.
Yeah, that completed
What was referenced there was Paul Pelosi
created it.
mocking the fact Trump saying, "Oh, it looks like a wall at Nancy Pelosi's house didn't work. Oh, they were having a gay affair," when that's not what was happening. And
yeah, exactly.
Powerful Democrats, unlike Destiny, who's a streamer, but actual politicians never engage in this sort of apologia for violence. But Republicans do.
I mean, the Paul Pelosi thing was so long ago, I don't even remember it.
Yeah, see.
Like what, he was in his underwear?
This is the kind of dumb shit
That's
that they
funny.
do.
Like if Trump got an assassination attempt in his underwear, do you not think people would make fun of that? I would.
Again, influential, powerful Democrats would not. And y'all creating a conspiracy to make yourself feel better about this.
They never, the one thing,
facts, and even
the left might spend too much time trying to stand on the high ground and be the more moral of the two parties, but the right never does. The right never tries to be. The only time the right ever tries to act moral in any way, shape, or form is when they're protecting their own asses. That's the only time. When it's their people, like what just recently happened with the bomb threats and stuff to, what was it, a couple of Trump's cabinet picks. Like, then all of a sudden the right's like, we shouldn't be discussing political violence. It's wrong to do this. This is crazy. People are unhinged. But yeah, if Nancy Pelosi's husband gets attacked with a hammer, it's all jokes and good times, and the right never speaks out about it at all. So that's like one of those places where it's like, I don't give a shit like what you think. Like, this is what it is. Like, I don't operate on what you think. I operate on what is.
Even if that were going on, it wouldn't justify laughing about an old man having his head bashed in.
Okay, next video.
But I agree. Bad
Cool.
Destiny.
Destiny bad. Okay.
Don't say that, yeah.
I don't know how do we get to the next part, but just like a lead up. So after Trump won, obviously liberals, especially women, were freaking out online. And now so many of them are vowing to celibacy. They will not have sex with men anymore to protect
That's
themselves.
right.
Let's watch
their body,
what
their choice.
she has to say.
Donald Trump is president, and I think all women should stop having sex for the next 4 years. In protest and protection of your bodies. As we know, if that little baby inside you gives you any trouble and you need an emergency health care, you're and you're gonna die. I think that is sufficient enough reason to stop having sex. Don't you agree? This vote wasn't a vote for Americans.
Their body, their choice.
And unless we want to become the Handmaid's Tale, then us women need to protest because this is some buttery bullshit.
Costume.
I'm sorry to the women and minorities who aren't going to get the help that they need in the next 4 years. I'm sorry for the people who are impoverished who are just going to keep dying from starvation and lack of healthcare and lack of governmental support. People are actually praising this guy, and it's a freaking joke.
My thing on this is if she personally wants to not have sex, great.
Yeah, it's her
That's
choice.
her right.
Yeah.
If she wants to encourage other people, go for it.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that's not the way we're going to make change, is a sex strike. I will not be engaging in a sex strike.
Promiscuous sex is going to make change? Promiscuous sex leading to abortions will make change? What are you talking about?
What?
Like, how?
I'm saying we're not going to take down the patriarchy,
like,
oh my God.
or make Republicans vote for Democrats by not having sex.
There's no political outcome from this.
Right.
It's just like
so
a
I'm not,
cultural.
I'm not jumping on this movement saying, all right, now this.
Yeah, it's her right. Like that's a weird video to bring up to be like, do you agree or disagree with this? It's like, what am I disagreeing with? Like her right to not have sex? That's her right. Is she doing it to make a point? I guess that's probably the best reason not to have sex, is if you're going to actually like have a reason to do it. I personally will not be abstaining either. But then again, I didn't vote for Trump. Neither did my wife. So we be having Biden sex all night long.
This is my TikTok.
This is how we win.
Yeah, guys out there.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or women. But her points are correct about,
I guess it's Kamala
Trump
sex.
being bad.
Kamala. We be Kamalas.
She's just talking. She's outraged that people would vote for him, and she's correct about that.
I mean, Trump is way more pro-life than.
I did say that though, Cypher. I did say that was one thing. I was like, the only thing I'm against with what do they call it? What do they call the protest? The B block or something protest? Is that kind of sounds like a right-wing psyop. It sounds like the right wing is like, let's convince the left not to have children. That kind of, I mean, to be honest, that kind of sounds like, right? Sounds like a psyop to me.
And it's pro-life.
Until people are born, then.
Well, there's a great chance that she wasn't even born.
The only thing,
if she was living in a very pro-abortion community.
that I don't know what you're saying, but I don't want to hear it. I have learned though that maintaining life through food is not something that y'all want to do because breast milk exists. So I don't know if we'll move the needle on that. Often when someone is a single mother trying to raise children, those kids are going to be malnourished if we don't give them some support.
It's such bullshit. They're not going to be malnourished.
Have you met people? Have you met any single mothers?
My mother was a single mother.
Okay, so maybe she was like really successful or something?
No.
Then how did she support?
Yeah, she has boobs. Support. She has boobs, and she eats, and then you get breast milk, right?
Does he understand how breast milk is created? Oh, of course he doesn't. What the fuck am I saying? Look at that beard. That beard right there says he has no fucking idea. Does he understand that a mother that is malnourished, not to mention how many women have a hard time with breastfeeding in the first place? Like, Jesus Christ, they're just, never mind. Why am I doing? Why am I trying to make, when I start to try to make sense of this stuff, that's when I know I've lost the fucking plot. That's when I know, I'm like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing right now? Why are you doing that? Fucking don't try and make sense of this shit.
There.
So kids only live
malnourished.
Kids
what?
only wait. That was the most psychotic thing I've ever heard. What are you still sucking on her? I'm saying that.
Where's
so
the video
funny.
of me drinking her breast milk? Get that one up.
He did.
Wait,
Jamie, pull that one up.
First of all, you have to, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. You have to be nourished as a mother to give.
Okay, good job, Luke. Luke understands biology.
Good nourishment to your babies, and then the babies grow out of the sucking phase.
Yeah.
And then you still have to feed
and then they
them
eat food. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about government policies. I'm
Okay.
realizing that's the wrong direction to go.
Fuck, they're like the dumbest human beings on
that
earth.
Okay.
Situation.
Unfortunately,
All right, let's
they're
move
not.
Okay, next.
So it's like
There's
another
dumber.
same thing.
There's
Feminist says
dumber
marriage is off
human
the
beings,
table
guys.
now that Trump won. All right.
This is all break, right? Like we're just gonna wake up tomorrow.
Okay, wait. Before we go further, PSA to fellow liberals.
Stop crying.
Hello.
Love you, and I'm with you. I felt devastated that Trump won. Don't do
Cry.
you, free speech, all that. But my advice would be, humbly, don't give MAGA this.
Yes.
Don't. Yeah.
Give it to MAGA. We love it.
Don't-
we welcome it. My
don't-
TikTok
if-
feed was amazing.
I didn't.
That's why I've been telling you guys forever. Like I've been saying this since the election was over. No one is going to be getting owned by being provided a good economy. Nobody is going to be owned by America doing well. If if through all of this, Donald Trump ended up doing a bunch of amazing shit for the country, you're not getting owned. Like, that'd be weird that we got owned by them, like, doing a good job. If Donald Trump, like, provided healthcare access to women, I would just be like, oh, okay. No, guess I was fucking wrong. Cool. Good to know. Good to know. There's nothing to be owned in that. What they mean when they mean they're owning the libs, it has nothing to do with politics, and it has everything to do with just trying to be a bully. And it's just trying to be like, look, I made you sad. Like, that's literally all they care about, is just coming in and being like, didn't I make you sad? So, like, the smartest thing that you can do to any Trump supporter that comes through and goes like, haha, I made you sad, is go, what do you mean? I ain't sad. Fuck, I'm gonna get shit done. What do you think? We're gonna sit on my hands and I'm not gonna go do shit? Like, dude, nah, for the next 4 years, I'm gonna be active. I'm gonna be good to go. This is gonna be fun for me. I'm gonna watch you guys suck, and I'm gonna show you guys how to get shit done when you don't cry about shit for 4 years. Like, that's how you need to react to this stuff. And that I 100% agree with Luke here. Like, don't let them fucking win that shit with you. No, don't let them see you cry.
Like, cry, but I felt the emotion that she's feeling. It's devastating that we'd elect such a terrible, anti-democratic, policy incoherent predator.
That's what I'm talking about, dog.
It
Good
already
job,
was
Luke.
litigated in front of a jury,
yeah.
but
yeah,
I agree it's devastating.
Yep, been held liable.
Don't give the Isabella Moody's of the world a video of you crying.
No, it's a present. But real quick,
Exactly.
not even against liberal women. What is up with women crying and then filming themselves crying and then posting it online? We have an emotional woman epidemic in this country.
Yeah, people can express. What did you say?
We have an emotional woman epidemic in this country. Like, women just why do they do
I
this?
disagree with that.
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Okay, let's- yeah,
thinking
let's-
women.
Why? It's an epidemic?
But
that's the dumbest shit I've ever
I'm
heard.
only speaking for myself. If you find it cathartic to post videos, great. I also have not understood. If I'm feeling emotional, the last thing I want is a camera on me.
Yeah.
Or not emotional. I'm emotional on the show, but I'm saying when I'm feeling like I'm about to cry, it's hard to turn on a camera.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take videos of me crying.
Break, right? Like,
Ain't no way you need to see
we're just
that.
gonna wake up tomorrow morning and everything's gonna go back to the way it'll be a psych. It'll be like.
And also, just to be honest, I mean, if we're being 100 on this, like, it's not like grifters are only on the right. Like, there are people obviously on the left as well that are like, oh, I can get clicks and views by like crying on fucking camera for people. I'm not saying that's what this, I don't know this girl. Maybe that's not what she's doing. Maybe she's really feels this shit. But if you think that there are no people that are fucking not shameless enough to turn on a camera and be like, everything is so bad and oh my God, it's the worst, and to get clicks and views, you wake the fuck up. It's 2024. There is money to be made in clicking and viewing. And at the end of the day, I don't know this lady. Maybe she was really sad and deserved to turn on the camera. Most people that are really sad don't really turn on the cameras. Most people don't do that shit. So if I had to guess, this young woman here probably has a pretty successful, or looking to have a pretty successful, influencer career. That's what I guess.
A really bad dream, and
or it could just be MAGA people pretending.
Like,
yes,
it'll be like the first time, and then we're all gonna pull through fine in 4 years. Correct? Please.
I do love, by the way. I'm like, I'm gonna confront you. Here is one of the greatest attacks against our democracy in history, and then you go, I'm gonna confront you. Here's a girl crying. strange priorities, but okay.
I can tell you one thing right now: marriage is the farthest thing from on
funny.
the table currently. So they screwed the pooch on that one if they thought that any of this was going to actually help with the whole family and kids department and lowering birth rates, because that, not even. Any semblance of thoughts I had or hope for that is completely going to be a no thanks for me, love. You think I would ever even dare bring a child into this country now? It was rough before. Now? No. That's cute. The
She was kind of right about that.
No, don't even get me started about
that. Does make sense.
Why bring a child into this country if you're so pro-abortion?
So I don't think you understand why people value reproductive rights, but okay. It has nothing to do with saying, let's do a bunch of abortions.
Babies.
It's about protecting an individual's
but not the individual baby's life.
To decide if they continue with the pregnancy.
No, you decided when you had sex. You decided when you had sex.
And then and we could go in circles on that, but I'm saying you're strawmanning and not really attempting to engage with the actual argument.
I'm sorry, I'm just so disgusted that this white man is trying to control women's bodies and talking about women's bodies.
If you're pretending like our goal is to just
I think we still need more
increase
military.
the number of abortions.
More military.
I don't think that's the goal.
Military.
Okay, cool. So fine.
But I mean that's it. Let's just we can
But I'm curious if she doesn't want to start a family in an environment where Trump is giving incoherent answers about what he would do on childcare when he could destabilize our economic situation, and that
always plug your
induces stress
channel
enough for her that she doesn't feel it the right time to start a family. That's her journey.
Yeah, I think she's clearly so mentally unstable that it's amazing that she's going to not be having sex. And she shouldn't reproduce. I agree with her.
And we all agree. You agree she shouldn't for your reasons, and
state.
we agree she shouldn't have to for our reasons.
Lots of money, a little competition.
Fucking,
why would you not want to make
there's
money?
no argument here.
That app is called...
Like, what's the confusion? Here's last video. Whoopi Goldberg joining the movement.
Let's see.
Dude, she's shooting blanks.
She's
shooting blanks out there.
Yourself, man. You can't do this without us. And if we don't let you, you don't get any.
Not wrong.
It's that simple.
It's not wrong.
Simple.
I want to start like a club, like a movement of people that are so devastated that they're not able to get any of Whoopi Goldberg. Would you join that movement?
You understand.
Here's the funniest thing, though. Remember, these are a bunch of dudes that claim that they never get to have sex. I love when a bunch of dudes that cry about being involuntary celibates watch a video of a woman saying she won't have sex, and they're like, yeah, no one was going to have sex with you anyways. Like, motherfucker, no one is having sex with you. Bitch, if she showed up at your house right now, you would fuck her, no doubt. Dudes acting like they ever had a bar. Well, I would never slept with that woman. Shit. Fucking, oh my God. That's why it's a joke. It's an old Joe Rogan joke. Joe Rogan used to say, the worst thing you can do is break up with your girlfriend. Because dudes go out and they can't find a girl to sleep with them. They have to do everything they can to find a girl to sleep with them. But a woman can walk into a bar and hold up her keys and go, who's taking me home? And like 3 motherfuckers will jump up and be like, I got you. I got you. What do you mean? No one was going to sleep with her anyways. Do you know men? If you know any men, then you knew one that was going to sleep with that woman. Or at least one, probably multiple men. But it's so fucking hilarious to hear a bunch of dudes that claim to be involuntary celibates say things like, no one was going to sleep with her anyways. Your ass would have slept with her. Fuck you talking about?
That
he never can answer yes
again,
or no.
I
crazy.
feel like
off, Germany.
It's so
you want some of this, you can get it, Germany.
Instead of actually engaging with what the democratic message is more broadly,
which is what?
You sleep well at night because you just pick out examples that make you giggle.
Open borders? I'll do it for money.
The issues
it's
of
only 30 gold,
rights
though.
with the devastating deaths, for example, we've seen because people aren't allowed to get the health care that they need and end up dying because of it.
When they take like the abortion pill when it kills them?
No. Or someone has a
happened?
miscarriage, they
10
can't
gold
get the care because
and
of
1
all
gold
these
per turn.
red state laws. And then the economic reality that Democrats oversee much better economies. That's going to be significant for people when the Republican administration is worse for it. The lack of effective law enforcement because Matt Gaetz,
our borders are open, boys.
I
just triggered all the right wingers. I just opened the borders for 30 gold.
Plummeting.
That's how I roll.
Your watch
checking
that you
my
don't
non-existent watch because whenever your speech is finally done, this is how I will tell you I sleep peacefully at night. I don't take this stuff.
My point is, this is significant. Yeah, and your
she's like too many words.
rear
I'm a
end
MAGA
benefits
Republican.
from
You're
the
using
fact
too many words.
that- I was gonna say ass again, but I felt like that was a little redundant.
That'd be very
your
like
privileged
assy
ass,
of you.
Your privileged self benefits from the fact that other people do care.
Yep.
And they've created a situation in this country that's, with all of its
100%.
issues, such that you can live the life that you're living. And you then, again, sit on the sidelines and benefit from real advocates.
No, my privilege is the fact that I'm a Christian woman who has an amazing husband and a daughter, where what makes me sleep well at night is knowing that I've made my husband happy, my daughter happy, we've had an amazing day, and no, I'm not going to cry about, and even if Kamala wins, even if the worst thing happens, it's not going to make me cry, because what's important to me is God and my family at home.
Mm-hmm. And you have the ability to be relatively safe in the community you're in, and to have the freedom of exercising the religion that you abide by because of people who cared about these issues.
I mean, I feel very safe at home because my husband has many guns, and I feel very protected, and I'm not crying online about, oh my gosh, this person just got elected.
You don't get my point. But okay, let's wrap it up there, because I'm not getting through.
Yeah.
But
he's not getting through this.
Spain, if you want some, come get some.
Thick
Spain.
skull.
Spain's about to get it.
Thank you.
Spain will be the first. Oh, declared a formal war against me?
You're very welcome.
Shit just got spicy.
Please.
Okay. Well, that was something. Philosophy and epistemology. I am learning. Oh, shit. Gandhi just started a war with me, too. Fuck, I am making people mad right now. Gandhi and Germany just joined up, guys. Gandhi in Germany. All right, so we're gonna save this. We'll do the wall streaming game. We'll save it. Oh, excuse me. We'll save it over that one. Yes. So we can continue. I'm gonna try and do this a little more often, where we just like watch a video. Because usually I do this. This is what I'm doing usually, anyways. Is I just sit here and listen to stuff to give me ideas for videos, or to give me like ideas of like what's going on in the world. And maybe we'll watch some of the fucking dramatics, the dramatics. But we'll be doing it more often. So I'm not going to schedule it. You're into history? I can bring up history. We can watch some history stuff too. We'll watch other stuff. This was literally just me just throwing this on, because I listen to what's his name, Dan Carlin. I like to listen to Dan Carlin podcast while I'm sitting around, because I just like to listen to stuff to like educate myself and make my brain feel like it's working. So I like that. I like to stay mentally lubed up. I like that. When I do hop on here, and this isn't usually the game I play while I'm listening to it, but I need to be able to like pause and stuff like that, and I don't think I'll be able to do that with other games. But moving forward, we'll pop on here a little bit more often, and we'll listen to like one-off videos, real short streams, like hour or 2 hour long streams, where we'll just like listen to a video, play games, and you guys can talk to me in chat if you want. So if that appeals to you guys, let me know for sure. We'll watch some history. We'll watch some cult stuff. We'll watch some philosophy stuff. Dude, I love watching philosophy stuff. So we'll definitely watch some philosophy stuff. And then maybe even we'll have like just a straight up game night. If you guys are into games at all, you guys let me know. Maybe we'll run a poll next time. What games you guys want to see me play. We can play new games. We can play old games. I don't really play games anymore, but the reason I don't play games anymore is because like by myself, it's not really interactive, right? Like I don't really get into games anymore. I like things with story and stuff. So if you guys are into something like a Dead Space, or like the new Pripyat game where you're in Chernobyl playing, and you guys like to see like horror games or thriller games, let me know, and maybe we can have like a game night where we just like, don't talk politics. We just play games, and you guys can make fun of me for sucking at being an old man and being a shitty video game player. Mental lube tube. I should make that. You like Final Fantasy? I love Final Fantasy. So I was actually going to play 7 tonight. Yeah, what do you want, Cypher? What do you want to see, Cypher? I was going to play old Final Fantasy 7 tonight. I actually have a second channel that is called The Giggling Ginger, and I thought about making that a gaming channel. It has dad jokes on it right now. Dope RPG, Octopath Traveler. Yeah, I've seen Octopath Traveler. Once again, if I had people around to watch while I play it, I'd probably like play those kind of games. I used to play nothing but like Japanese RPGs and stuff when I was a kid. So yeah, we'll play Octopath. Okay, cool. All right, well, yeah, the original. Yep. The good one. Well, in my opinion, the good one. The new ones are more my daughter or my son and my wife's speed. They play the new 7s, and I watch them play it. I can't really get into it, to be honest with you. I like the old 7s. That was my shit. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for being here. If you haven't checked out the new video, please go check it out. It's called, I think, The Rise of Oligarchy. Is This the End of Democracy? If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. Go check it out. Leave me a comment, a like, and a share if you can. Really appreciate it. All right, guys. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I think this is the button I'm supposed to push now, but I'm not sure. So